Yes.
Hello, you beautiful people. This is Kurt. Hope you guys are all there.
Hey, Kurt,
Turn on.
We're here.
Doing excellent. How are you? That is good.
Oh, there, I am muted.
Nice. Let's see here. We have a couple of other. Yep, you need to mute yourselves. It's always a good idea to mute yourself, please. We've had people go to the bathroom in these meetings, and it's very awkward for everyone. And your screen will actually bounce every time that you make a sound. So I will definitely call you out, embarrass you, and hopefully it will come up in counseling years later when you still think and drink because we embarrassed you. So to avoid all of that, yes, please mute. Is that a good enough answer? You're like, that was a little long-winded. How is everybody doing today, by the way? I can't hear anybody. Yes, I can't hear a little bit. Hey, it's good to see you all. How many people do we have on here yet? Whoa, we got a lot more people, which is great. Good. So let's see here. We got the recording going already, which is absolutely amazing. We're gonna share some screens a little bit. So what I would like to really do is I'm gonna do a little training. I have some questions for you. And there is one person that wasn't able to join tonight. Let me take a look. I'm looking over. You see me kind of looking around because, like I said, I have multiple screens here. So let me take a look here. There was somebody that wasn't able to join, and I was going to answer their question here real quick. It was, where are we at? Peggy. Love those guys. Peggy, you have a question about stats. We're going to talk about that actually here in just a couple of minutes. I want to go over some kind of ahas, which I think is going to be good for everyone. This is what we call in marketing an open loop. Stick around, but wait, there's more. We're going to answer your question here in just a little bit. Now I feel like I got to sell something where it's like, now we're going to answer your question here in a little bit. I want to show you guys all something that I've been working on since I saw really all of you out at Todd's event, just kind of a little training, get some feedback from you all. You guys always ask me questions, so I figured, well, I'm just going to ask you questions. And then we'll look at your own personal funnels and get some thoughts as well, too. So does anybody have anything pressing? Is there anybody that's like, hey, I got to take the kids to baseball, got to put the kids to bed. Please answer my question in the next 2 minutes. Like, is there any pressing questions? If you want to come out on audio or in text, it's fine. Nope. Like, let's just do this. Nope. It's good. No? Okay, good. Sometimes I'll go into a little story and people are like, I got one quick question. Like, great. All right. I'm gonna just check my computer. We are gonna go on what we call an adventure together. Payment planned an hour. Should I plan for more? Well, the courses, so today is 3 hours. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk for, probably going to give training for like 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes. And then I'll answer any of your questions. And sometimes what ends up happening is we'll get into kind of deeper questions. We'll want to do a screen share, look at examples. So you'll always have the, but usually this, well, plus they actually pay me for it. We go through a whole marathon session to go over a bunch of stuff. So let's see. Great. Yeah, you can see my wall. I know you can't see the writing or anything else, but you will in a minute. I can turn my dang lights on. Yeah, that's good. So one of the things that was really interesting to me from meeting all of you and being at Todd's event was framing of an offer. So standing in my place in Austin now, I've completely covered, I guess that's the one thing about being single that makes it a lot easier. I've completely covered my entire house in these big old Post-it notes where I basically reframe the entire offer in really a much more compelling story that I reframed and went over with Lawton just last night as well too. Talking really a lot more about the AI, you know, the artificial intelligence and how you harness it with Facebook, how it can really help your business. Now, one of the things that we've learned that I wanted to share with everyone else is it's very interesting when you teach people, like in my situations, you see me kind of a little bit lighting kind of stuff. But it's very interesting where you can either train people concepts that can last for many years or train them on exactly what buttons to hit. So I walked into a Tony Robbins event 6-7 months ago, and I was watching Tony present, and I'm watching the entire business side of it. And I have somebody that came off mute. You guys can just all double check, make sure you're on mute for me, please. Just everybody make sure your phone's muted or your screen's muted. Double check for me. Thanks. So one of the things that I was just absolutely amazed about was I walk into this Tony Robbins event, and I'm looking around, and there's like 4,000 people in there, which is just crazy anyway. It's like 64 degrees. If you guys have never been to an event, it keeps it really cold, and there pretty much are no breaks. You can go for like 10 hours straight. It's a little crazy. But it really hit me. I'm like, oh my goodness, he is selling stuff that is 23, 27, 30 years old, where just a typical Facebook training is, you know, it may last 3 or 6 months, like in my case, on what buttons to hit, so a buttons to hit program. One thing that Todd really set out at the event that was really good is he goes, people pay for methods. They pay for systems and they pay for methods. Well, you can really buy, for me, for Facebook marketing, anybody can really buy or find online where to hit what buttons. But if I tell people what the buttons mean and what the strategy is and the concept is with the story, I'm going to be able to sell a lot more and not have to update my marketing on such a regular basis. Because it doesn't have to be the latest and greatest what happens right now. It can really be the latest and greatest system. So what I've ended up doing is maybe a little hard to see this. Let me see. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Over in the next 2 weeks, and you guys will always get a copy of this, and you'll see it more next month as well too. What I've done is I've really broken down what we're going to call now the Social Media Ad Genius Profit Factory. And really what it is a more simple way to explain just even the basic ad funnel. So it would be like, for example, let's see here if I can get in here. Yep, I can see just enough. You should be able to read it. Hang on, let me make sure. Is that highlight, spotlight video? I think that's it. Yeah. Let's close that out. There we go. Do you see it backwards in your screen, or can you actually read it? Is it backwards, or is it okay? Just curious. You can read it. Cool. Great. It's kind of weird where it's like frontwards, backwards, frontwards. Yeah, it's just a little crazy. But basically what we've done is we've laid this out where we want to be able to imagine, so we call it the Social Media Ad Genius Profit Factory. And the reason I say profit factory is we want to think of like Henry Ford, and we want to break down each step as a factory, right? So number one is we're going to perfect our perfect customer. Number two, we're going to target very specific interest clusters. I mentioned that before. So we're going to target interest. So we know that we have a core customer, 35, 55, let's say female, who likes, let's say, yoga. And what we're going to do is we're going to split test 4 different core interests. So we may have an additional keyword. So they like yoga. They might also like green smoothies. And then step number 3, we're going to target just the core audience after we selected on who they are. And then we're going to target number 4. We're going to target with retargeting. And what I do is I actually go through an entire almost like factory process where it's like, okay, have you identified your perfect avatar? Number 1 step, first step of the factory. Yes. Great. Number 2. Have you set up the interest clusters? No. How do I do that? Great. Here's a worksheet that you can fill out that will tell you step by step on how to do it. Now that we've done number 2, number 3, are you targeting a core audience? You're going to want to target with a picture, image, video, and I'll walk through those options. And then we go over to, for instance, step 5, the landing page. So the landing page could be, as we talked about at the event, it could be a blog article. It could be someplace that they opt in. But one of the things that really helped for me to listen to Todd talk about funnels and then talk to everybody else is a lot of people, when they talk to me about Facebook marketing or marketing in general, they're like, hey, look, I know who my avatar is. Like, I know who I'm going to target. But this other kind of like retargeting stuff that you guys talk about, and like, I know Todd talks about like a funnel, like I go to a landing page, they opt in, they go to a VSL. But like this whole, Kurt, you talk about like weekly content and following up with people, you know, Todd really said it best, where Todd said, you know, hey, he's willing to break even with a customer for, you know, he said 6 months, sometimes it's even 12 months, but he really knows his numbers. Most people will say, well, wait a minute, they have to click, they opt in, and then they buy. And if they don't buy right away, I don't make any money. Like, you have to be able to acquire that lead, right, and then sell them additional products and services. So what we basically did from Todd's event, we said, okay, look, we're going to break down, we're going to call it the funnel, but we're going to call it the social media ad genius profit factory, right? There's a landing page. Okay, on the landing page, there are numbers that you can quantify to know if you're doing average, good, or excellent. There are ways to know, is my landing page working? Here are the critical numbers to look at. The next part, once someone opts in, what happens? What did they do? Like, what's your follow-up? So there's always a follow-up, number one, and there's always a metric. And the follow-up could be, I don't know if it's probably hard to read here. The follow-up could be either email, it could be a voicemail or a phone call or a text message or a retargeting ad, or all of the above. But what we're going to do is we're going to build out, it's a 12-step, what we're going to call profit factory. We're building out the 12-step profit factory. So what we're going to be able to show people is, let's just say, and I'll just kind of just make this up just for the fun of it. Like, let's just say that Ken has a question on the product. Ken would say, hey, Kurt, I have this new magazine that I'm selling. And, you know, I've been running Facebook traffic, but it's just not working for me. And that's typically what I hear from people. And I'm like, but that just not working is I'm plugging in my other screens here real quick. The just not working is an absolute loaded question. Actually, I'm going to screw around for one more minute if you guys don't mind, just because I want to share this with you. Because really, I came back from Todd's event and I had this huge aha, and a buddy of mine was like, he asked me a sequence of questions that was really changing. But check this out. I was kind of talking about it a little bit. So here's my favorite part of the day, right? This is what we call rush hour, and this is what we call not being in rush hour and working with amazing people like you. That is the first thing that I love about doing this stuff. But yeah, this goes, we call it our, I call it our layer in the sky. So it was funny because a friend of mine, roommate, known the guy for about 10 years, and I just came back from Todd's event, and he's like, oh my God, dude, you talk about traveling, you know, you're now living here. Oh, I got to show you one other thing. That place where you see the red lights right up there? Yeah, right there. That's our little residence bar. Overlooks the city. It's absolutely amazing. The reason I share that with you is being at Todd's event and him asking the question. He's like, hey, Kurt, how did you put this whole thing together? I've known you for years. How did you put it together? And I go, dude, all of it really is, if you really break it down, it's all little small micro commitments. Or some people get confused and call it a sales funnel. And what they do is they get really confused in the process of the sales funnel. They don't know what numbers to track. We've gone over it here, and there's no judgment, but we've gone over it here. We've gone over this in so many other coaching classes, so many other students I've worked with taught, is they're like, hey, Kurt, I got a problem, but they don't know where to compartmentalize it. So we want to be able to say, hey, look, social media ad genius. We're going to show you a social media ad genius profit factory, and that is each step of the way we can compartmentalize. So for your ads, how far along this 12-step process are you? Hey, look, I'm getting opt-ins. I think I'm doing okay, but how do I know if I'm really doing okay? Well, here are the numbers that are titled with the opt-ins. So you can start to judge, okay, now I know, should I back up and make an improvement here, or should I go forward with this very next step? And to be able to put all the pieces together so our audience, our customers, can come back to us in very clear language, and I say, okay, Ken, what's wrong right now? You know, I'm having problems with step number 6. Kurt, you said that in step number 6, if I'm looking at closing sales from a webinar, I should be looking at 1% cold market, and I'm getting at about 0.2%. So I'm only getting about a 10% show-up rate. What can you do to help me with this point? Because I realize that these numbers are off, and I want to give people kind of some lines of reference or some bars of reference so people know, oh, my numbers are good, they're bad, or they can be improved, and to know should you move forward or back up. So what I really learned, grab my coffee. What I really learned out from Todd's event that I wanted to share with everybody else is being able to classify your own methods. So I think of the SMAG Profit Factory. And since Todd's event, I've watched a lot of documentaries really for inspiration. And I watched one on the inventor of the Segway, which was really cool. That was actually a part-time thing. And the guy didn't die. Everybody's like, oh, the guy from the Segway died, right? That was actually in the documentary. He's like, no, he didn't die. But what happened was is this guy would form a lot of, he worked in the medical field. And there was a brilliant line that he said that he goes, I'm an inventor. I'm not an inventor because, hey, that would be cool. I wonder if it makes money. I'm an inventor because, oh my goodness, that's a problem and I know how to fix it. And I'm like, that's really interesting. And when that happens, he was able to create medical devices that have helped kids and infants, like with certain types of IVs. That money, he started working on a side project on that thing called the IT, which was later the Segway. And he's done some just amazing inventions, all looking at first, what's the problem, and let me figure out a way to solve it, you know, versus, hey, this is going to make a ton of money, which I thought was just brilliant. And take a drink. What he also did is he also talked about things that he could create that would make a long-term impact. And I started to think from Todd talking on stage about the funnel process, talking to other students who don't know how to compartmentalize their funnel, so we just call it a factory so people can compartmentalize it. It was the process that a lot of people don't have a follow-up right away, and they don't know how to quantify those numbers. So I don't know, I'm really curious, how many people here are testing out ConversionFly with Todd right now? I'm loving it. I love how it's set up. I love how it's laid out. I'm just curious, either in chat or in audio, how many other people are checking out conversion? Anybody else working on ConversionFly? I'm going to start tomorrow. Okay. Just started with it and was on the webinar. Okay, great. Yeah, I'm loving how those processes are working out. I really like it. And I like how it tracks each part, and it's made to be really pretty simple. I mean, even Facebook tracking has gotten a little more difficult and a little bit more interesting. The other thing that I got from Todd was when we were talking about processes and we were talking about a method, I really thought about compartmentalizing where people can have a checklist to know if they're doing good or not, you know, with certain numbers to kind of go through the checklist and say, hey, I know I'm doing good or this isn't working. And then I really started thinking, I'm like, wait a minute, this just doesn't have to work just with Facebook. I know that this exact same process works with Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Google Search, Google Display, and pretty much all the other major social networks. So now I just got to show people how to get people on the top of that factory. All the other follow-up processes, next steps, everything else is really all included in the process. So really the big takeaway from Todd was create your own process with your name on it, and then have steps and metrics, and then make it universal, not something that necessarily cures an immediate need right now. Like, those tools are great, but the marketing always requires to be updated, you know, versus a process that you can use over long term. So I just wanted to show you some of the stuff that we're working on. I'm going to have a what we call Layer in the Sky weekend, which is essentially that bar that I showed you upstairs for residents. We'll have, I think, 12 people up there. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, where I'm going to tell the whole story of this, how I put it together, walk through this whole 12-point checklist, and I'll give it to you guys when it's done, and then all the numbers so you can compartmentalize each part of the process as you're setting up your funnel. So like Todd's going to help, the Todd software is really going to help you track, you know, the Facebook ads, leads over here, what happens. And what this is going to be is really just a checklist to find out, how do I know if my numbers are doing well? How do I know if I should spend more money or less money? How does that work exactly? So we remember universal, making universal, you said, very good question. So, you know, the one thing is like on my side of the brand, just to be open, is, yes, actually I have 2 more people, I think. Now that it reminds me, I still got to pay my apartment complex for the event space. They called me on that today, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to pay that today, but she was at lunch. So yes, I think I have 1 or 2 spots left. I don't remember. It was really close. Nick handles that, but I believe so. I always like to cram 1 or 2 more people in there, as long as they're not against fire code. But make it universal. So this is interesting. So a lot of people know me for Facebook ads. And now you guys all know the story as well too, that I am on a break from Facebook for 12 months, until June next year. So it really made us force and really think. We're like, okay, how did we advertise on Facebook? Like, what was our methodology? Like our targeting and our follow-up and our retargeting. And we started to draw it out. And we've been testing this on like Twitter and Pinterest and Google Display. And the more that I started to draw out this funnel, I'm like, well, wait a minute. The number one thing that Google and Facebook really want at the end of the day, number one, is not your money. It's not. It's not even your new content. They don't really honestly care about brand new content. What they care about is highly relevant content. That's it. Now, I don't know if a lot of people know this or realize this or not. Some people in the advertising space know this. Some people who don't run any ads have no idea. But it doesn't matter to Google or Facebook on how much you bid for a click. You could bid, for example, if you were selling hammers, you could target people on Facebook who are like in construction looking to buy a hammer, for example, just to make it really simple. And people clicking on ads for hammers could cost about $1, right? And this whole thing's an auction. If you were to bid $10, but you weren't selling hammers, you were selling screwdrivers, Google nor Facebook would serve or run that ad. Or if they did, very quickly, they have an algorithm to know that, wait a minute, what this person is specifically looking for, they are not getting on the other end. What Google looks for is a perfect search result. For you to go in and type in, for example, learn about online marketing sales funnels. The first link that you click, whether it's a paid ad, whether it's an organic thing, they want you to click on the link and they want you to go to that page, and they either want you to opt in, they want you to buy, or they want you to read on that page, click on the next page on that website, and the next page of that website. All they want is 100% congruent, transparent, and highly relevant content. So transparent, congruent, highly relevant content, those three things. What I've noticed is they actually don't really care. I mean, they do for a little bit, but it's very, very small. Care about misspelled words, how the site looks. Are the links broken? Like, does the person have a good customer experience? Is it just a squeeze page where they can't click around to a home page or a blog page or a contact us page? What Google and Facebook just really want is they want people to click on an ad, click on a search result, or click like in the news feed like you do. And if you're interested in it, like, Facebook has over 150,000 different ways to judge what gets in your personal news feed every day. When you click on something, Facebook just wants you to be relevant, wants you to click over, wants to make sure that the blog is interesting to read or the content is, or that the ad actually adds value. So you can bid $10 for a click, but if your content's not relevant, very soon Facebook and Google won't run your ads. So a lot of people are getting their ad account shut down because really they're not sending relevant traffic. So what I've really been teaching people, and we'll go over on this a little bit because I think that's actually where part of the question that Peggy has is Facebook's one of the first companies out there to give a relevance score on, hey, how is your ad being perceived? So I'm really focusing now more on click-through rates and ad relevance to determine my cost per click, or to determine my cost per click, because what we're seeing is, and actually, Peggy, I'm just going to go ahead and address your question on this because this is really good for everybody. What we're seeing is sometimes when you run traffic to the same opt-in over and over and over, you may have a decent cost per opt-in. But if you keep running that ad to that same audience and you watch your relevancy score drop below 7 to go to 5 to go to 4 to go to 3, Facebook will start charging you more because your content isn't as relevant. So what we're really showing people is how to produce relevant content, number one, and number two is how to run ads towards that relevant content. So Craig, to one thing is I said you put another question and I'll answer that. So the one thing is where I said universal, relevant content can work from any one of these social sites, and if we show people how to target that way and follow up the right way, it can be Facebook, it can be Google, it can be LinkedIn, They're all just a little bit different buttons, but the process is the exact same on how to follow up with people. So that's when I say it's more, the strategies that I'm teaching a lot now are a lot more universal versus just Facebook. But what I learned from Facebook can be used on any of the social networks for the way that I select my target, my avatar, setting up my funnel, tracking my funnel, retargeting my funnel, and email my funnel. Craig, you said I'm confused. If I keep seeing Facebook promoted posts sending people to a webinar, Franklin, etc. So if I understand correctly, as long as the landing page is a sign up for the webinar, advertised and promoted post, then that's relevant. Kind of. You see sending people to the webinar. Yes. Would you mind coming out here so we can chat about this for a second? Coming off mute. Do you mind?
Come on.
There you go, buddy. Good to see you. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. Okay.
I'm doing Google ads, and I'm just about, as you know, to get into the whole Facebook thing. And I know Google, their AdWords and their relevancy. I get that. I don't get relevant on Facebook and how it pertains there.
Okay. So I'm going to explain this for what I know, and unfortunately, there is a ton of algorithm behind this and artificial intelligence that I can't say, let's connect these 4 dots, and this is going to give you the answer. It's like kind of like in the news feed, like 150,000 different ways to judge which is in your news feed. Now, I'm going to jump ahead for just a second and then kind of jump back because Sharon goes, hey, great question, relevant to what? So here's there's a couple of different questions in here, and I'm going to answer them all at once with a story. And I'm trying to make sure I format this right. Okay, so I'm going to tell a story, and then Craig, I'm going to kind of walk through this with me, right, and kind of ask me any questions along the way. Bear with me on this, right? We've been working on this for a couple of days, but bear with me on this. So the story that we want to tell is we want to tell the story of artificial intelligence. And Lawton gave me a brilliant idea, which was something along the lines of, hey, look, what if I told you that billions of computers from all over the world are connected? And they're connected in such a way which there are major companies right now that are overseeing our every thought, our search, literally what we like, what we dislike, what we read, what we look at. They've been monitoring this stuff for years. And here's the thing. Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies have been using the same type of technology. They've invested billions into it. And it can very accurately predict our future, meaning that based off your performance and your past buyer behavior pattern, on your past pattern of what you like to read, of your past pattern of what you like to search for, based off that past pattern, they can predict with a very high probability and accuracy of what you're probably going to buy in the future. Almost like the artificial intelligence system that these guys have built is actually predicting your future of what you're going to buy. So what's interesting is we have found a way to tap into that artificial intelligence in that way that these major corporations have done it the exact same way. What we found is the people who created Facebook, or the people who created Google, for example, if we look at history, what we found is Sergey and Larry, these guys who created Google, all they wanted to do is they wanted to build a database where they could index the world's information. So people can get online, type a quick question, and find the world's information. They never thought that it could be gamed in such a way with ads or something they call search engine marketing, that what you want and the other end of the user, or the user at the end, all they want is the exact relevant result to what they're looking for. So for example, if you are looking for Thai chicken in Austin, you want the closest restaurant to your house typically, or where you're searching on your mobile phone. You are not looking for a chicken in Thailand named Austin. Very different. What you want is Google and Facebook want the same thing. They're mirroring this. For instance, in Google, when you make that search, Google wants you to click on the link, look at the web page, and say, This is the Austin Thai chicken I was looking for. Awesome. And you read through the menu. Ooh, they have desserts. Let me click on another link. Ooh, they got desserts too. This is great. Oh, they have an order. They have a call here. Order. Great. I'm going to click on this order form right here. Great. And I'm going to call, and then I'm going to close that on the website. I never had to go back to Google. That was a perfect, relevant result just for me, just for my customer, right? So what happens is Google and Facebook, because of Google, Gmail, people searching on Google, being logged into Gmail, while you're searching, all that stuff, Google is comprised of, and we're telling people in the story, is Google already, if you perfect your product and service, Google knows exactly where your buyers are going to be at. They know the website, they know the age, they know the demographic, they know exactly where to target to. And if you really focus on your avatar, really focused on who exactly do you want to market to, Zuckerberg and Facebook has all that information, all of it. Like, they are really good on the avatar. So if we can get really good on your product, service, and message, that's what you're going to deliver once people buy. Because, right, your marketing sells your product keeps people from refunding. So nothing really happens until someone swipes the credit card what your product looks like. So what we have to do is, when we're advertising, Google and Facebook don't need your money. They really don't care about your money, and they really don't care about your business. They just don't. What they want to do is they want to make sure the person on the other end is only clicking on things that is very relevant to them. So for example, if we are taking a look at, I just want to go to Frank Kern after that whole thing, right? So for instance, Craig, if you're on Facebook and you're clicking on odds at Frank Kern because you're like, man, I want to see what that dude's up to. I love the way that he markets. I don't really like to buy his stuff, but I love the way that it markets. And you're on digital marketers list and you bought a product or two. Let's say you bought 2 products and you click on their ads because you see traffic and conversion. Well, you're already teaching Facebook what you're clicking on. So you're going to see these ads over and over and over and over. Yeah. Now, if you so you can actually go to the top right-hand side of the ad, click that little down arrow, right? And it'll say like leave feedback, or it'll say something like, report as spam, or I don't want to see this anymore, hide the ad, or unlike the page, right? If you never do that to an ad and kind of clean up your ads, it's great. But when you do it, let's say you see Frank Kern and you're like, dude, I am so sick and tired of seeing this ad because the frequency is really high. It's running over and over and over and over, right? And if you say, hey, I don't want to see this ad anymore, and you close it out, Facebook, in a very big way, and they publish this, they're like, wait a minute, Craig never hides an ad. Never. This is big. This point's going to be a lot more relevant than Ken, because he hides 40 ads a day because he's grumpy and he doesn't want to see anything that has anything to do about happy. Nothing. Like I have a client in digital romance. Tell your partner you love them today. 50 people reported as spam, 20 people reported as hate posts. You're like, tell your partner you love them. You have more issues than Jesus or counsel and console. So what happens is sometimes, depending if your frequency is too high, people may hide that ad. Now for relevance, what I believe, and I've seen this in news articles and it's a hunch, but what I believe is Facebook catalogs everything. Images, phrases. So for instance, if Tony Robbins has a certain image and a certain tagline on the image and it goes viral, and you right click and copy that image and paste that image on your fan page, you might not get the same reach than if you were to take a stock photo or a picture of yourself and put the same quote on there that now you're typing in a different font. That will actually get more reach because now Facebook believes it's original content. Mm. Now, with that said, I also believe that Facebook catalogs the copy that you use in your ad plus the image in your ad. It would not surprise me if the images that they offer in stock images, Facebook pretty much immediately knows I'm going to show it in front of 100 people, but even though I didn't show it in front of 2,000, it's a very high probability because of the blues, blah, 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 whatever, it doesn't get shown to that many people, right? So what happens is if you're using the same ad, either that causes ad blindness or the relevance not going to be as much anymore. So How do they calculate the relevance score exactly? I'm not really quite sure. But what I have seen is I try to keep my relevancy scores for my clients above 5. So the way that I look at the numbers, and this is some of the things that like I talk about that I want to list out in this like Profit Factory kind of checklist. When I look at my numbers and I'm looking at them for the first 3 days, the first thing that I'm looking at, like if I'm running website clicks, the first thing that I'm looking at is how many clicks did I get? Because I want to know, is this statistically relevant? Is it 40 clicks, which is kind of sort of statistically relevant, or is it 200? Statistically relevant. I can figure out some averages from 200, right? It's not 10, it's not 20, it's 200. Okay, so let's just say 100 clicks. Great. Then I'm going to look at my click-through rate. Now, if my click-through rate's above 1%, could be 8, could be 9, but I'm looking above 1%, I know at least people are, these are all micro commitments, so this is all part of the profit funnel. I know at least people are clicking on the ad, so they at least have some interest on the ad. Great. This is just like a client I was looking at yesterday. He had a 2% click-through rate. Great. And then now I look at the cost per click, right? 50 cents. Okay, great. I got 100 clicks. It looks like I'm getting a 2% click-through rate, 50 cents a click. Great. Price is great. Again, what is relative price? Whatever I can find that's predictable. This happens to be 50 cents. Great. But the relevancy score is 3. Well, how in the hell is that possible? I got a high click-through rate. That could be because they're landing on your landing page, they're not opting in. This could be because you've been using the same opt-in page with 10 different ads, and none of those ads have produced you any opt-ins whatsoever, and Facebook knows you're going to send them back over that same dang page, and they're not going to opt in anyway. It could be the message is a little disaligned from your landing page, so people are confused and they bounce away. It could be because
let me ask you, how does Facebook know if somebody opted in?
Because you're putting the conversion pixels on all the page. So we're trading information for them knowing everything about the customer service experience to track what's happening.
This might be a beginner question, but why would I want to do that since I'm going to put all my tracking on ConversionFly?
But so eventually, because what you're going to want to do with Facebook is you're still going to want to use Facebook pixels to track your opt-ins and your buys, because there's 3 ways that we can target with Facebook, right? Number 1 is the core targeting, like I trained when we were there, which is you're going to target, let's say, 35, 55-year-old people in sport, people who are in sports. Let's just say football, right? Football, athletics. Now you're going to target those people, which is going to be great. But as those people start to hit your website, you're going to want to retarget them, so you're going to want to use that pixel. Right? So it's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't. So you're going to want to retarget people with Facebook. Facebook's also going to want to know how long are people staying on your website. Is it 2 seconds? Is it 10 seconds? Is it 30 seconds? Now, if you track conversions as well, because the code's going to be, you're going to want to retarget with people who opt in, right? You're going to want to retarget and say, hey, thanks for opting in. You're going to want to retarget with buyers. But you're also going to want to know who opted in, so Facebook's going to track it, so it shows it as a conversion. And the main reason is because the next part of your targeting is you go from your core targeting, and then you go to your custom audience with like your retargeting. What happens is you can start actually targeting and saying, hey, Facebook, I want to bid this not by website click, but because you have now seen over 100 opt-ins, I want you to go out and find me opt-ins. You've seen my data. You go out and find me people that have a high probability to opt in. So you can actually bid instead of per impressions. You can bid per click. You can bid per opt-in. Say, Facebook, just go ahead and give me opt-ins. I don't care what the cost per click is. You just go figure out the opt-ins, right? But the third thing is where we see us make the most money is the similar audience. So where Facebook sees a whole bunch of sales or a whole bunch of leads, and then we say, okay, which we can upload either through email or they can see from our custom audience we created. Then we basically say, hey, Facebook, go out and find us a similar audience. You know, the top 1 or 2 or 3% of the people that are very similar to our audience. So what happens is, because Facebook can tell how long people are spending on their site, where they're going in the funnel, or the biggest thing is, did they click and go back to Facebook, or did they click? Like, that's why a blog's great. Did they click? Did they spend 30 seconds on your blog and then come back? They're going to serve you cheaper blog clicks because it's more congruent. People are staying on your blog longer.
So it seems
Does
to
that
me,
make sense?
totally now, it's relevancy to what they want and their actions. But it seems to me we could eliminate, if we're going to do an opt-in type of funnel from Facebook, how is it more complicated than just make sure your landing page has the exact same headline and content as the ad that they clicked on?
It is. But what I tell people is, the main goal is long-term, predictable, scalable income, right? So you can run an ad, let's just say to a similar audience. You can run an ad to a landing page. Eventually, it's going to stop working. Either it's right away or whatever. Eventually, it's going to stop working, right? Now, we don't know if that's going to be after $5 or $20,000. Now, the ad's either going to stop working because people have seen that same creative over and over, right? Or for whatever reason, they are just not interested, even though the headline matches the opt-in and everything else. We want to be retargeting people because just because they did the micro commitment of clicking on your ad, but they didn't opt in, doesn't mean they didn't want to opt in. It could do with a different blog article, right? So what a lot of times what would happen in direct response marketing is people would market directly over to the opt-in or directly over to the VSL. And if they didn't buy or if they didn't opt in, they never followed back up with a different retargeting. And I think, in my opinion, what Facebook and Google are looking for now, I heard someone say this a while back ago, I thought it was brilliant, is Facebook wants ads to improve the user experience. So a lot of, in my opinion, I think a lot of like the lead pages opt-ins of, hey, download this free ebook, put your email here, people clicking over, and then just click over, they read the sentence, bounce back, click over, bounce back. I think those pages are going to be more expensive to run traffic to in the long run. I think it's going to be less expensive to run someone to 2 or 3 blog posts, and they feel more indoctrinated with you, just like Alot was talking about. They feel like they know you better. So I think what we're going to see, and I'm starting to see this now, and I'm going to go in and I'll answer Peggy's question with this, is I think what we're going to see is I think we're going to start seeing people saying, I'm going to make up these numbers, but to prove a point. I think we're going to see more like $1.50 clicks to websites, depending on niche and whatever. And like where there's a blog, like a $1.50 straight squeeze page opt-in, and like 50 cents to a blog. So meaning, if I really look at my numbers, that's why I'm putting together this whole chart thing. If I tell someone, hey, look, I want you to advertise your blog and not just a landing page. They're going to say, Kurt, I advertise my blog and I get like a 10% opt-in. My landing page, I get a 30%. Right. I know. But I want long-term predictable income. So if it's 50 cents to blog article 1 and there's an opt-in page, or like you have an ad on your website, which looks like an ad, but would like go over to a VSL or your webinar or whatever, right? Or like an opt-in down at the bottom. I go, if we look at each blog post being 50 cents to send traffic, 1, 2, 3, it's $1.50. It's a little bit more if you were paying $1, $1.50 a click, about the same, could be a little bit more. But they've read 3 articles with you. You've shown Facebook that they like your content. So we figure if you really get your avatar really clear and you target that really clear avatar with content that they want. So not necessarily, hey, do you want to lose 10 pounds today? But if you target someone who's bought green smoothies and you're giving them a green smoothie recipe and a blog about green smoothies and some of the easiest green smoothies to make and the best blender for green smoothies, which could be an affiliate, you already know that they're in process with the green smoothies. Once they opt in, you can follow up with them with many different ways, but I believe it's going to be multiple contact points. I believe it's going to be for really relevant people. I really do believe, from talking to all the people through all my travels, that people who are just sending the landing pages and straight to a VSL, that's a lot why accounts are getting shut down, because they're seeing consumers bounce away from it, not using it as much. So I think we constantly have to be refreshing ads. So for example, and I know I got a bunch of other questions in here I'm going to answer here in just a second, so for example, Peggy asked the question, hey, I'm not going to be able to make a call. Wonder if you could respond to a couple of questions we can listen to later. So our cost per lead, actually here, I'm going to just share my screen so everybody can read this, and I want you guys to go along the math with me so you can see this. So if I'm going to go share screen, desktop, share screen. Can everybody, I believe everybody should see my screen now. There we go. All right. Let's see view. Where's my Zoom? There we go, so they can read it. All right. Here's what we got. So not going to be able to close this thing out. So okay, not going to be able to make the call. Great. So our cost per lead has gone from $1.82 over the last 30 days to $7.41 in the last 7 days. Prior to that, it's been holding steady around 90 cents cost per lead. What to do at this point? So I've attached a spreadsheet with our 30, 14, and 7-day stats for the custom lead and sales report. And Don Crowther mentioned that there's a new API that would alert you when someone changed the relationship status. Peggy, I don't know about the API. I do have Don's contact information. If you want to send me an email, I'm happy to give that to you. I'm pretty sure it'd be fine if I gave it to you. But if you want to send me an email on that, not a problem. Okay, so a couple of things. Is our cost per lead has gone from $1.82 over the last 30 days to $7.41 in the last 7. So the first thing that I start taking a look at here is something has drastically changed over the course of 30 days, obviously, right? Now, I tell people I don't ever believe in anything unless it lasts at least 3 days. So let me give you an example. If I pull up, let's see if I can just pull up PowerPoint real quick. Yeah, let's just do this. Yeah. Buy our stuff. That's what we have in here, which is great. So, copy. Actually, hang on 1 second for me. It's important. Yes, right there. Great. Great. And that. All right, let's take a look at this. Now, if oh, this is great. Hang on 1 second. Can't see you both at the same time. All right, here we go. All right. So 3-day window. So when I start ads for Facebook, I don't ever really believe anything for the first 3 days. I want to see, I basically want to see, you know, what are the average overall trends, okay? By the way, I'm going to turn my camera off because it's going to be weird because I'm going to go back and forth and kind of look at this. You guys are going to stare at the side of my face. It's just going to look weird. Where is the camera? Here, and well, good. I can't get back to that. You just stare at my Movember 5-day no shave. This is what you call for me the Todd Brown beard. That's probably about the best that I can do. Okay, so 3-day window. I don't believe anything in ads when it runs the first 3 days. The algorithm hasn't really picked up with Facebook. Now, what I'm gonna see though is, let's just say that I already know that I'm gonna go exactly with Peggy's synopsis right here. So I know that I'm paying $1.82 right now for leads. Okay. Let's say I fire up ads, and as soon as I fire up the ads, within the first 24 hours, I'm seeing $8 leads. This is in the first 24 hours. Now, if I'm seeing $8 leads in the first 24 hours, I clearly know, wait a minute, I am not going to wait another 2 days to see what happens, okay? So we're going to close that out. Now, if I'm seeing within the first 24 hours that I'm getting a lead for, let's just say, $2.10, well, I know I can get a lead. I know I can get a lead cheaper. That's my control. I mean, this is really after 24 hours. I'm going to wait another, sorry, I don't know why that jumped. Come on, mouse, click on this thing. Let's move this down. That's what I'm looking for. My computer's not moving as fast as I want it to move. Okay. So in the first 24 hours, if I know it's $2.10, I'm going to wait a little bit, right? I'm going to wait just a little bit longer, and I'm going to see what happens. Okay, and after 3 days, I'm really going to make some final decisions. Now, as we're starting to run ads, I want to go right back to what Peggy was saying. So I'm always taking a look at ads overall. I'm taking a look at what happened yesterday. I don't really care about what happened today. The numbers aren't going to necessarily be accurate, but I'm going to say, okay, what happened yesterday? Okay? And I'm looking, okay, I know I'm usually running $1.82. Yesterday, let's just say I did $2.10. It's pretty close. Great. How did I do for my 7-day window? So I take a look at the last 7 days, and I can see, okay, for the last 7 days, I've been, and I know my control has been around $1.82. For the last 7 days, my cost per lead has been $3.15. Now we're getting up there, okay? So I wonder, now that I'm at the 7-day mark and I'm seeing my trend go up, okay, what am I at overall for 30 days? Okay, so I typically check, and if you go to the top right-hand side in your reports, it'll say yesterday, 7 days, 14 days, let's just say this is $2.15. So I know that it went up in the last 7 days, but overall, if I look over the last 14, I know it's pretty much in line. Okay, so what about, what's my 30-day window look like, right? My 30-day window, let's just say if I look overall for the last 30 days, it's $2. Okay, so I know I went up in 7 days from $1.82 to $3, but overall, if I look at 30 days, I can see that I'm pretty much on par. What will happen is as you're running traffic longer term, there will be these little 3-day bumps. You will see, you will come in and you'll be like, okay, what happened yesterday? And you may see, oh my God, this is $10. Oh my God, I'm shutting down traffic. This is where a lot of people screw things up because Facebook will have off days for whatever weird, strange reason. So I'm always looking at, okay, what happened yesterday? Okay, before I freak out at this $10 that happened yesterday, I know that I have been getting about $1.82. Let's just go ahead and take a look at the last 7 days. Okay, the last 7 days, it's, I don't know what I put it exactly before. Let's just say $3.15. Okay. Now I can see the average for 7 days isn't as bad as what yesterday is. So if I take a look at the 14-day window, okay, I'm seeing $2. Okay. I still see that overall I'm on track. I will look. If I see leads go crazy, I will always look for another 3 days. So I may have leads go crazy for a day, it may go crazy for 2 days, but I'm going to look at that 3-day window. Am I seeing the cost really rise? I don't want to make any decisions too quick. Now, I say that in kind of a longer answer, but I want to kind of show everybody that it's really important that we're looking at these intervals, because basically what she said is, she goes, look, prior to all this, because she already knows that she's done the research, we've gone over this before, she goes, look, prior to that, we've been holding steady around 90 cents cost per lead. So she knows to look at the 30 days, the 7 days, and she's saying, well, wait a minute, I'm from $1.82 to I'm at $7. I mean, that's a huge jump. So she attached the spreadsheet of 30 days, 14 days, and 7-day stats for the custom leads and sales report. So let's go ahead and look at this. This is actually very interesting. So I'm going to go to view. This should be actually command. It's just a minute, the screen's locked up. Come on, baby. Let's try this. Well, that's weird. I'm not able to click on the document. Oh, I see. There we go. All right. So here's what I'm going to take a look at. So past 30 days, past 14 days, past 7 days. That's a little squiggly thing. It's going to bug me. All right. Here's what I'm looking at. So ad set name looks like they're targeting the same people, so the same age range. So I need to look at things that are consistent and things that are different. Targeting is the same. Great. Average spend. Okay. I see how it's cut down. Makes sense. Okay. The next thing I'm going to look at is frequency. So after all the money that they spend of $875, the average person has seen their stuff about 1.5 times. Great. Not a big deal. 1.5 times. Okay. It's probably a lot of room to grow. The last 14 days, the average person's seen it 1.2 times. Last 7 days, 1.2. So people are seeing it on average between 1.2 and 1.4. It's great. I don't want people to see my ad 3, 4, 5 times because the relevancy score is going to decrease because they're going to see it over and over and over and over. But people are seeing an ad every once in a while. It looks great. Take a look at our click-through rate. So our click-through rate for the ad itself is 4.3%, which is great for the last 30 days. 3.9% last 14 days. It's about the same. 4% for the last 7. So we're really close in click-through rate. I mean, it is a little bit higher over 30 days, but we're really close. Okay. So the frequency is the same, the click-through rate's the same, so the ad must be the same. Cost per click. We got 9 cents, 10 cents, and 11 cents. Even though it only went 2 cents, if we're talking 2 out of 10 cents, the cost technically did go up 20%. But if she's saying that her cost per lead went from $1.82 to $7.41, that is not a 20% increase in cost. We can see a 20% increase in the cost per click here, but it's not that big a difference. So now I'm looking at leads, 481 leads, and cost per lead at $1.81. Okay, great. Cost per lead at $5.64, that's a big jump. Cost per lead at $7, that's a really big jump. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look as I see, okay, here's how many link clicks that they got, okay? So then that's checkouts and all the other data doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm seeing here the cost per click, 12 cents, 13 cents, 15 cents. It went up a couple of cents. I mean, it's really not a big difference. So here's what I'm really going to look at. I'm going to insert the column in here. I'm going to put opt-in rate. So I'm going to take that number, my leads, divided by the 7,000, enter. That is going to give me a percentage. Let's go ahead and change this here real quick. Format. What percentage? There we go. Here's a percentage. Come on. There we go. Come on. Copy. Good thing I know how to run Excel. So this is here. So that's 6%. Someday, this thing called my mouse will work properly. All right, so here's what we're going to take a look at now. Now that we've seen the frequency is about the same through all of this, right? It's the same. Click-through rate is the same. Cost per click is the same. This is why I want to draw this out in the SMAG profit funnel. So I can be like, look, it looks like the traffic's the same. The cost per click's the same. Like, but the cost per lead has obviously really gone up. And if we take a look, they were already getting a 6% opt-in and almost a 7% opt-in on 7,000 clicks. That's what got 481 leads. That 6, almost 7% opt-in. That's where they got the $1.81. Somehow something happened where it was dropped to a 3% or a 2.5% opt-in. Over half, 50% difference in the opt-in rate. Now it's 2, so it lost another 25%. So something happened with the opt-in. Now, what the ads show us is frequency is the same, click-through rate's the same. So same good audience must be working, ad must be working. The only thing that I can think about with the opt-in rate being different is, did the landing page change? So first thing that I would think, did the landing page change? Because there shouldn't be, I see everything else is the same. I can see the difference in the opt-in rate. If the landing page did not change, the only other thing that I would take a look at that I can't see on here is what is the relevance score? Is the relevance score for your ads above 7? If I see above 7 and a click-through rate of what you have and the frequency being about the same, I would want to think maybe there's something that either I changed on my landing page, or maybe Facebook's just running through one of these weird 3-day problems, like where it just happens, but there's something wrong, or was there a problem with your opt-in page for a day or two where you weren't able to collect any opt-ins? Like I would look at the opt-in page and just see, like, was there a certain time period that no one was able to opt in? Maybe something was broken, because everything else leading up to the opt-in looks like it's the direct same. So I hope. Does that make sense to everybody? I know I got some additional questions, and let me pull up the chat. Yeah, Christine, you're like, go down one cell. I'm like, I know I was trying, but my mouse wasn't allowing me. Or it's just because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay, great. So I'm going to stop sharing over here, just a moment. Go here, and yes. Hang on one second here. Yep. Got it. Let's see here. Okay. So, see, that was really helpful. That's awesome. The opt-in rate is per showing, not per click. So what I do is I divide the leads into the clicks. Wasn't there a much lower link click number? Yes. Let me explain this. Facebook makes this so amazing. Let's share screen, share desktop. Yep. Share screen. All right. So here's basically what we see. How many people did the ad reach? Right. What's the frequency? How many times did the average person see it? Click-through rate, so our percentage, right? 4% of the people click through. Cost per click on all. That means, this is the weird thing with Facebook compared to everybody else. This means that, did they click on the ad? Did they click like? Did they click comment? Did they click somewhere around the ad? Like, this is how many people actually clicked on the link to go over to your offer. So this number is always lower. This link click. So it's actually sending people to your offer. Facebook has distinguished, because people had complained, the difference between regular cost per click all and cost per click link. So I take cost per click link, how many they have, the link clicks, divided it by, or the opt-ins divided by the link clicks, not just the clicks that just went to, likes, shares, or whatever. So let me stop share over there. Make sure that makes sense. Yep, that should make sense. That was helpful. Good. The opt-in rate is per showing, not per click. Per showing. I'm not quite sure if I understand that exactly. Got it. Then I won't sell engagement. So promoted posts could morph to promoted content no matter where it lives. Yes, Ken, absolutely. Like one of the things that we're putting in, and I'm kind of backtracking a little bit, one of the things that that we are going to be telling people is, and practicing what I preach is, hey, look, gone are the days of just sending it straight to an opt-in, like I said before, and they buy something. Now it's going to be, okay, we're going to send them to an opt-in, and then, of course, there's going to be a follow-up with the autoresponder. Well, also, we're going to have a weekly content. So every single week, we put out something called the Smagazine, which is just the highlighted articles of what's going on throughout the week that we found across the interwebs. But we're also going to have a blab that we're going to do once a week where we're going to just, me and Jeff Schechter, our sales guys, or training coordinator, where we're going to talk about, oh yeah, in Smagazine this week, here's what, we were talking about Instagram. Here's what we see on the web about the Instagram. We're going to talk about Instagram a little bit. And then we may have a call to offer for our 7 days. So we're going to have a weekly event that we're building for. So it's a weekly topic, a weekly call to action. That's the event we're building for, which could be either a webinar, a $7 offer, or an affiliate product. And then every week we're going to be selling something. That could be an affiliate product, that could be a higher-end coaching, that could be a product from us. But we are going to get really good about documenting, okay, over the last 6 weeks, we put X amount of money into our Facebook ads. And each step of the way in the profit center, here's how we profited from it. ConversionFly is going to track it all for us. But this is going to help me forecast my money so I can say, all right, I want to go to Europe for a month and, right at the end of Christmas into the New Year's and the second week in January. Great. I want to go for a month. Exactly how many clicks do I have to drive? How much is it going to cost me to go from here to here to here to here to here to pay for the entire trip? I love predictable, scalable income. All right, somebody else had a question here. Let me pull this over. All right, 6% opt-in per click is terrible, and 2% is even worse if that's per click. What am I missing? I have an idea on how to answer that, but Craig, will you come out and please explain your question?
Okay, I think I'm missing something because nobody has 6% opt-in rate and thinks that is worth it. So I'm missing something on the calculation here. It seems to me like it's an opt-in per ad showing to people, yes?
No, it's opt-in per how many people clicked on the ad. So that basically what we want to know is we want to know how many people clicked on the ad, which essentially should mean that it landed on your website. But there's load times and page load times and all that other stuff. But we're assuming the click per link is we're assuming those are the people that visited the website.
So is this standard on Facebook? I mean, I'm used to like at least 15, maybe 20 from cold traffic.
So here's the interesting thing. And this is why I wanted you to ask the question, because I knew that the underlying question of what you're asking, right? So the reason I really want to build up this SMAG profit funnel is I want to show people that the numbers are relative. People will ask me all the time, but wait a minute, I can get $2 leads, I can get $5 leads, I get 60% opt-in. I'm like, it all depends on your numbers. So let's just take a look at Peggy's numbers, for example, right? So she's getting $1.81 per lead at a 6.87% opt-in rate. Now, $1.81 a lead is killer for her niche. She's getting even 70 cents a lead. Killer at her niche. Great.
Yeah.
They have a follow-up. They're doing great. I want them to focus on $1.81 and 70 cents. Like, that is awesome.
No, I get that.
Now,
but it seems
6% opt-in?
What I'm getting at, no, I understand. The point is ROI, not an opt-in rate. And Todd preaches that all the time. But I'm thinking in my head, there's something, there's either this is endemic to Facebook where just opt-in rates are half or way less than every other source because of the environment, or there's a huge opportunity, and that's really my question.
That's why I brought you on here to ask the question. Yes. So it's kind of like the problem that I see, and again, this is where I kind of go back to this whole profit factory thing, is people don't know exactly what their numbers are, so they just turn everything off because they're like, I'm not quite sure what any of this means, right? So here's what I like what you said. The $1.81, your cost per lead, who really cares if it's 6.87% opt-in rate? Because the $1.81 a lead, you're making revenue off of it, that's great. However, the next part that you said was, I think I found a huge opportunity here. So what I want to be able to do is show people inside of our profit factories, okay, what is good enough numbers? Like what's the C average if we were in school? What's the B average?
Yes.
What's an A?
Yep.
So a C average for me is about 15% opt-in rate.
Exactly.
I agree. I think there is a huge opportunity right here, number one. A B opt-in rate, I would see about 25%.
Okay.
If you can get 30 and above from cold market, you really are doing great. You really are.
That's been my experience.
So exactly. So what I would take a look at, and my next thing, I'm really glad you asked this question, is I would come and take a look at, and I'd say, okay, look, these numbers for reach, frequency, click-through rate, cost per click, like I said, they're relatively the same, right? There's something wrong with the opt-in rate that goes from almost 7 to 2.5. There's something wrong with that. But if you were already good enough at 7%, holy crap, there has to be a headline, there has to be a different hook, there has to be something to move that from 6 to 15, because if we move this, let's just say, for simple math, let's just say this was 7 opt-in rate and we moved it to 14, what would the cost per lead be?
In half.
If we doubled the opt-in rate. Yeah. Yeah. So if I was worried at this point about $7 a lead, I would be looking at the relevancy score. But the other thing is I go back to what you just said and said, wait a minute, there is a big opportunity, because if I can get even just a C average at a 15% opt-in, that gets me my 80-cent leads back. Same targeting and everything else. So we know that people are clicking in, they're just not opting in. So I'm either thinking of relevance, or there's an opportunity. I would, in my opinion, I would keep on running traffic, even though you're getting $7 leads, but I would be changing the opt-in, just 1 or 2 things, not scrapping the whole thing, to see if you can get to that 15%.
So,
yes, brilliant question.
Yeah, the core of my question is, Facebook cold traffic pretty much is the same as the other cold traffic, as far as opt-ins, typically, roughly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, yeah. I mean, I always say it's just all relative, because it's like if you're getting a really, like sometimes I'll notice that that I'm getting like $3 a click where I should be getting like 50 cents, but then I'm getting a 75% opt-in rate, to where it's like, it shouldn't be this expensive, but it's a really high opt-in rate, right? So I see Facebook with a little bit higher opt-in rate, because I think it's a little bit better targeting than what I see with Google.
Oh, okay.
But I don't always necessarily see that opt-in rate staying long term, because like if you're advertising Google search, people are looking for like how to get rid of bud bugs. There's always people getting rid of that, right? Versus running people to like a product or service that they've seen the product over and over and over, like Frank Kern and his latest promotion.
So
I've seen it 30 times and just.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that was a really good sequence of questioning. That was really good.
Thank you.
So I got a couple other questions. Absolutely. All right. So Ken's a change-up sequence or change-up squeeze? Yes, and test. Yes. Facebook is more targeted than pure cold traffic, or should be, right? Yeah, it should. So that's kind of our real big thing that we're going to be working on with 2016. As I mentioned, the SMAG factory, it's really, hey, look, you got a product, service, or message. Great. Let's really focus on who your avatar is. Because if we really focus who your avatar is, we're going to know how to target them on Facebook and Google. They're going to let us do that. But if we're really relevant on our content, not necessarily it's spelled right, and not necessarily that we have the most prettiest site, but if we're the most relevant, that's going to keep our ads running longer. Now, I firmly believe that because we have more relevant content, that may require multiple contact points. I think it may be, well, hey, I'm not sending people directly over to an opt-in right away. It may be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blogs, but I think it's going to make smarter buyers. I think it's going to make for a little bit more expensive opt-ins, but I think it's going to make us much, I think people who follow up properly with retargeting and email and have something different to offer like once a week or on a regular basis and keep it in front of people, I think those are the people you're going to see snowball over and over and over to just really do really well, versus like I talked to a guy today, hey, Kurt, I made a couple $1 million, but then it stopped. Why? What do you mean? I had one ad, one product. I ran it till it exhausted the market. Great. Like, did you have a continuity? He's like, no, they bought one bottle of pills, or they bought, 4 pills, and that was it. So there's no continuity. There's no long-term growth. There's no scalability. Like, you made a bunch of money real quick, which was awesome. And I'm sure you guys have all heard the same story as well, too. It is great to make $1 million in a month. It sucks not to make anything else for the next 18 months and have to rebuild everything all over again, especially if you had to have staff and everything else behind it, right? So, yeah, I need a great back end. Always got to have stuff on the back end, always a follow-up. Can you talk a little bit more about clarifying your avatar, please? Yeah, absolutely. Well, actually, sorry, let me go back to Ken. Ken said, and I'll answer the question. Hi, Kurt. What is your strategy for retargeting the people that you retargeted on for YouTube? So what we're doing right now, great question, is what we're doing right now is, like, we just came up with a process that we're refining that I'm going to be using with my sales guy, Shecky. So basically, here's what's going to happen. Like, Shecky literally left my house right before we did this. So every Sunday, we are going to release a new blog article that we're going to post out on social media, and we are going to email out to our list. So our blog article on Sunday is going to cover our topic for the week. So what's going to happen is, let's just say we just sold a $7 Instagram product, okay? Let's just say the topic for the week is going to be about Instagram. So what's going to happen is we are going to email our list starting on Sunday about our blog on this Instagram. At the very bottom of the blog, it is going to say, and you know, I have advertisements for my other products and services on the right and left-hand side, whatever. At the bottom of the blog on Sunday, it will say, join Kurt and Shecky, our training coordinator, join Kurt and Shecky on a blab on Tuesday. And we're just going to basically be talking about Instagram. We just hang out on a blab. For you guys who know what blab is, it's basically just a hangout where there's 4 different video screens where my audience can engage with me, ask questions, whatever. And then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be running advertising from Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever. And I'm going to use Google Tag Manager to make sure I'm retargeting everybody. Same thing from retargeting YouTube videos as well. Every Sunday, we're going to start running ads to that blog. So cold traffic's going to come to my blog, and my email traffic's going to come to that blog. Anybody who lands on that blog is going to be retargeted to the blab. So that is my next event. I always have a content. I always have a next event. Now, people in the blab, I'm going to tell people, hey, look, thank you for being here. I'm going to leave the recording of this blab open for 1 week for us talking about Instagram. We're actually going to close it Saturday at midnight. If you're a member of our social media ad genius community, you will always have access to these recordings. They're in the back of the membership area. And remember, we're doing this blab on Tuesday. On Wednesday, on the blab on Tuesday, I say, okay, we've given you a little bit of training here. We've talked about Instagram. Tomorrow, Wednesday, 1 o'clock, I'm hosting a webinar on how to advertise on Instagram. So to backtrack, remember on Sunday, I sent an email to my list that sends them to a blog that talks about Instagram. The very bottom says, hey, I got a blab where it's coming up. Listen right here. I am running advertising from all my other front-end advertising spots. Google, display, anybody else who's been on my list for retargeting, running to that blog. On Tuesday, we're going to have a blab so they can see my face live. On Tuesday, I'm going to say, announce, hey, we have a training. It's going to happen on Wednesday. It's a webinar. Register here for the webinar on Wednesday. On Wednesday, I'm going to have like a half an hour, 45-minute webinar. And on that webinar, we're going to train on Instagram. And we're going to have a call to action. And that call to action could be buy Instagram for $7 or whatever. That's going to be our call to action. Okay? Then on Thursday, we're going to send a replay of the webinar. Friday, we'll send a replay of the webinar. Saturday, we say, hey, look, your last chance to buy. We send a last chance email. And on Saturday, we also send out what we call our magazine for the week, our social media ad genius. Mm-hmm. So Saturday morning, everyone on our email list gets this magazine. And this magazine is the top 7 or 8 articles that we have found online that we know that our avatar is going to like. So that's the one thing we do once a week that everyone can go ahead and read on. And then only the people who join the webinar or only the people who registered for the webinar on Wednesday will get an email Saturday night that says 4 hours left to buy our whatever our special was for the week. So what I'm doing is I'm constantly bringing people into the funnel by advertising our different blogs on the different social media platforms, targeting the same avatar with pretty much the same message. So they go from one blog, and we're going to retarget them to the next event, the next call to action. We're going to retarget them to the blog, or from the blog, we're going to retarget them to the blab. From the blab, we're going to retarget people to our webinar on Wednesday. We're going to retarget the people from the webinar on Wednesday to watch the replay. So anybody who's visited the blog all the way through the blab to the webinar, they're all going to get retargeted to the replay. And then what's going to happen is only the people who either watch the replay or people who registered for the webinar get retargeted for, don't forget, final day, close out, buy now. So we're following up with both email, both retargeting, but what we're doing is exactly what I told you, is we're sending people directly to our new blog each week. And again, I'm drawing out and writing out this entire thing, and I'll share the entire thing with you probably next month when we talk. But conceptually, does this make sense? Like, I'm always advertising new blog content. I'm picking up retargeting or opt-ins. I'm always having an event or something that I'm selling that week. Next week, so what ends up happening is, as I'm using Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, as I'm retargeting, is literally the snowball starts growing bigger and bigger and bigger. So if I decide the week before New Year's, oh my God, I got a $10,000 tax bill, that I'm like, what kind of solution can I create for these people? Oh, hey, look, here's something to do. I'll give you a discount before the beginning of the year. I have that momentum where I can send out an offer and really hit it really big. I think most people just start and stop too soon. But does this conceptually all make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good. Good. So what other, so talk a little bit more about clarifying the avatar. Okay, yes, let's talk about clarifying the avatar. So what we really found out is that, and I do have some trainings on this for audience insight, but what we've really found out is Google and Facebook really know more about us than we know about ourselves. Like, they know what we search for, they know what we click on, they know how long we spend on websites. And if you really think about it, it's kind of creepy, because Google knows, they say that they don't know how to identify us, but they know how to show ads to us that are relevant to us. But Google knows more than your doctor what you search, that weird bump on wherever that's doing whatever you want to look at late at night when your family or friends, you don't think they're looking. And I love what, like, Match.com did a study a while back ago. And what Match.com basically said was, people will enter in their profile search information, what they are looking for, what they want, what they're aspiring to, the person that they want to attract. But then what they search for, completely different. So they have to take both the information to merge it together to predict what people are going to be looking for and show them the ads of the significant others. Otherwise, they're just not going to come back to the site, because they're going to be searching through and be like, this doesn't apply to me. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. Even though that's exactly what I asked for, right? So what we find, and when we start taking a look back at history, like even with our clients, we find some clients that were like, well, wait a minute, this is a great product or service. Like, we can run $20,000 a month and be profitable. Why would Facebook shut this down? And we start looking into it. Well, it's not a make money niche. It's not a violated niche. Well, our click-through rate was good, but these guys knew their lifetime value of the customer. So, for example, Russell Brunson's a great example. We may run 50,000 clicks to a web page. We may have 40,000 people bounce from that web page. Doesn't matter, because he's so good in his funnel. When people opt in and they start buying, he's going to monetize that funnel. He doesn't give a crap if 49,500 people don't like it. But Facebook may look at that stat and say, well, this page is probably not relevant. Well, like Todd said at his event, Russell can outspend his competition to acquire a customer. Facebook doesn't give a shit about outspending your competition to acquire your customer. They want to make sure that your content is highly relevant to make sure that the people who are looking for their content or clicking on their stuff, hands down, is it's relevant, and that's what they want to look at. They're not looking for the Donald Trump that can spend $5 million to be on every radio commercial, TV commercial, and billboard. Because then people just drive around and they're like, I hate looking at these stupid billboards. But with Facebook or Google, they're like, we just want people to click on an ad or a link and go to that site and be relevant. We don't care about these big spenders. So I think what's really interesting is that's why I say I really firmly believe, especially 2016, it's going to be multiple contact points, but they're going to have to be highly relevant. So what we want to do is we want to focus on our avatar, meaning that the more focused we can get on the person that we want to attract into our business, the better it's going to be for our business. Let me give you a couple of examples. Age range, income level, education level. What you can do is, I went through a little bit of this, but I have some links to this, or you can find this inside of our social media Ad Genius product, is look at audience insights. Really spend time digging in audience insights inside of Facebook. So you start putting in your core target of your audience. So that would be, for example, for me, it'd be 35 to 55. I know that number. Great. What's the next part? They're entrepreneurs. Usually not people from an office buying a marketing product to help their office. Usually entrepreneurs. Okay. So 25, 35 entrepreneurs in the United States. Great. I don't care if it's male or female. It doesn't really matter to me. 35, 55 entrepreneur United States who like online marketing. Pretty general, it's pretty wide. Okay, that's my core audience. So I'm taking a look overall is I got my core audience. They like online marketing, they're entrepreneurs. I personally don't like teaching someone brand new, a new concept that I have to train them to learn how to purchase. I want people to be in process to purchase with me. Here's what I mean by that. I want somebody who's already interested in being an entrepreneur, who already owns a business, who's already interested in online marketing, who's already interested in Ryan Dice, who's already interested in Frank Kern, to look at my content, because they have a higher probability than me advertising to just an entrepreneur. I don't even know if they're interested in online marketing. I don't even know if they like marketing. They could just want to just be an entrepreneur. But I want to get really focused on my avatar and figure out, okay, who are these people that I would hang out with? Like, who are my perfect customers? Are they college educated? Do they get out of high school? Do they have kids? Do they own a house? A lot of this information you can find in Audience Insights. So the more clear that you can really be on your customer, the easier it's going to be to target. The easier it is to target, now the only thing you have to make sure is your information, the information you're presenting to your avatar, are you super clear, isn't congruent, isn't relevant to that avatar? So for instance, if I'm showing a picture of a man and a woman with 2 kids living in a house, well, if my avatar is 18 to 21, that's probably not going to be an image that's going to be appropriate. This is how it makes it more relevant. If I'm focusing on my age, what that person might be looking at, it can help me realize what the copy is a little bit and to make sure that my ad overall is just more relevant. So hang on, let me take a look at this. So there's a couple of other questions in here. And then, yes, I have questions for you. On the right channels for yes, just says here. Ken, we can talk about it here if you're fine. If you want to ask, if you don't mind me reading that question, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, because you basically just said you had a question about the right-hand side. Yeah, what question do you have? Do you want to come out off of mute? What question do you have about the right-hand side ads?
Are you talking to me, Kurt? Ken?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was really about the channels as opposed to the location of the ad. For the real estate product that we discussed down at MFA, I think you were sitting there, Ken and I, and we talked briefly about Facebook may be or may not be the right ad channel for our audience. It could be Google plus LinkedIn or something else. Do you still believe that? And because, you know, real estate agents, investors, and other people have a Facebook presence, do you still think we should lean toward the other channels? Or should we test?
I can't remember who's the end avatar. Is it a realtor, real estate agent, or broker?
There are actually 4. Commercial real estate investors, heavy duty, big time investors. We have the smaller time flippers. We have real estate agents, and I forget the 4th, but there are multiple avatars in this thing. So our ads, we'll have multiple ads running toward each. And then, you know, whether it's Google, Facebook, or LinkedIn, we'll have multiple ads. And I just wanted to know, do you think Facebook would be a place we could test, or do you think it would be really a waste right now?
Yeah, I think it's a place to test. You can target realtors. You can target the Realtor Association. You can target commercial brokers. You can target those types of job titles. You can target all that stuff. So I think it's great.
Okay, yeah, I have a conversion fly anyway, so I might as well set up the channels and test, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely what I would do. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, because the nice thing is people with job titles you can target. It's kind of interesting. I was talking to a guy the other day, and he's like, "Hey, Kurt," and plus I kind of like this for the ego, but he's like, "Hey, Kurt, I heard you're the best out there, and I want to market with you. So and so recommended you." And I'm like, "They all say that. How can I help you?" And he's like, "I sell membership software to CrossFit gyms." I'm like, great solution. And I go, "Who's your perfect avatar?" And he's like, we want to advertise on Facebook. And I go, great, that's not the question I asked you. Who's your perfect avatar? And he's like, well, it's someone who's looking to start a CrossFit gym. And I go, I can advertise to people who are interested in CrossFit. I can advertise to people who are 25 to 35 who are interested in entrepreneurship and CrossFit. But I don't know where in the hell to advertise to someone who's about ready to make the decision to be in CrossFit. Now, are there websites that show how-to that we could advertise on? That's a good question. I go, how many of these have you sold? And he goes, 5. And I go, okay, not a lot of statistics, which is great. So we want to sell people who are in process. Now we want to target those people. Now, I would imagine these people are entrepreneurs, people who are probably interested in fitness. So we don't want to target everybody in fitness because we're only targeting store owners. So we can't necessarily target store owners. We can't target job titles. What about direct mail? And he's like, I think we can market this on Facebook. And I go, what about if we marketed to only CrossFit businesses? Like there are some associations that they might be referenced to. He goes, yeah, but they're a part of association. That means they've already been in business at least a couple of months, and they've probably already made a membership purchase. So it's probably not worthwhile targeting them. And I'm thinking, probably worthwhile, never tested, very interested, just not even trying because you haven't even tested it, right? I don't know how to pick up people who are in process of about ready to open a CrossFit gym, but I know that we can target, especially like with direct mail, CrossFit gyms that have been open 60, 90 days, right? It's their limiting self-belief that they're not willing to test on the others, but I always want to figure out where can I target in-process people. If they have job titles, if they have likes, if they have past purchasing behaviors, especially if you can target based off demographic, all of that stuff is on audience insights, which just makes it so much easier and so much more brilliant. I hope that helps.
All right, great.
Absolutely. Let's see here. A couple other people had asked some other questions. Good. Got that. Thanks. So I just got my VA in the snag. For you. Okay, hang on one second. Tomorrow I'll be right there with you. Craig, basically what I just tell her is like, you got your VA who got social media ad genius, which is awesome. Just have her go through the very first training, go from number 1 to number 2 to number 3 to number 4, just one right after the other.
No. Yeah, I'm talking about how much, I don't want to have to go through this whole thing. That's why I'm paying her to do it. So just philosophically and big points, overview, high level, what does Craig need to know about, what do I need to know? What do you suggest I get good at so that I'm able to direct her. I mean, obviously I'm I'm filling my brain with how to implement conversion fly. I'm setting up funnels left and right. I'm creating products. And that's why I want her to go through this. So I got somebody else doing my Google AdWords. I'm devolving my traffic. So off the top of your head.
It's a really tough question. That's the problem.
I mean, would you just say you just need to go in there, Craig, and get familiar with the ad manager, and then we can talk on these calls once a month and maybe check out this module where I get into it there? I don't know.
I think the checklist that we're making with the social media genius profit checklist or the profit factory, whatever we kind of came up with the name with it, I think that'll really help. So there's a couple of things that is good for everybody to hear, and you and I have talked about it a little bit, right? So people come to me and they're like, hey, look, as a business owner, I'm really good about what I do, but I don't have time to learn everything else. I'm like, damn it. The thing that sucks is on one side of it, it's like, if you know how to spend $1,000 or $2,000 to test a message or some initial traffic, it's one of the most powerful things a business owner can do, because then you go to an outsourcer or an agency and you're like, hey, look, I know I can get leads for $3 to $6. If you give me leads for $6, I'm going to be happy. Just run it and scale it, and I know it works. And I'm going to have this follow-up process. Now I know that I'm going to be looking for some, retargeting, right? Just show me how you guys are going to retarget. I understand the basic funnel of, okay, they go from here, and this is what the SMAG factory we're laying out is. I need to go from here to here, and then I know that I have to follow up and I can quantify these numbers. So let's just say your VA's name's Jane, right? Hey, Jane, okay, what's the next step? Looks like I have to follow up with the email. I can take care of that. What's your retargeting ad that you're following up with? And then what are the metrics that we're going to check to make sure, okay, how much does it cost us to have somebody click on this follow-up, and what's the result on it, right? What are some of the metrics that we can check over? So that SMAG profit funnel that I'm working on, I'm getting those numbers so you can say, hey, Jane, do me a favor. Here's my funnel. Where are we at on these processes, right? And she can at least give you numbers which has some guidance. The thing that, when I say it's a tough question is I can give you the numbers of that profit funnel, and you can understand the numbers, which is great. But you're not going to know from, and I'm open to feedback on this, I'm just kind of going through the process, but you're not going to know if she's creating ads that could be in any kind of violation of any kind of policy, or kind of how that process works. So I know that there's a lot on your plate. I was just talking to Shecky about this today when we were working on this whole funnel process and checklist for people, because he basically said, hey, look, Kurt, here's the thing. And I know there's some people even on the call on the same process. So, okay, look, Kurt, for $500, we could set up 12 ads for people, and they just run them. We'd set up ads, creatives, get it all set up. They just hit the upload button. We show them targeting. They just run it. $500.
Basic.
It's great. It's basic. If we set that up, not a problem. We'll have multiple people order it. Now we got to talk about fulfillment. How quick is it, right? But we're going to give it to somebody, and they're going to upload it. And how do they know what the data really means if it really helped them out? Are we really giving people a service if we're like, here's 30 ads, upload them in this sequence? They don't know, you know what I mean? If they don't know the process of it, it doesn't really serve them. Okay. So now do we run the process? Well, we can, but now we have to hire more employees because now we're managing more processes of it. So it's like crap. So from your standpoint, is having your VA go through all of it is awesome. Spending a little bit of time and understanding the strategy behind it, because we have a lot of strategy videos behind it, yep. I think it's really powerful. I constantly struggle, and I know it's because I'm in this business, I constantly struggle between what can I tell someone that they can outsource, and what numbers should they unequivocally know how to obtain on their own and know what buttons to hit on their own.
Yeah.
Because I want to show you, because you have a brilliant message, I want to show you when you're like, you know what, I'm going to go after the soccer niche. I think this is going to be really good. I got a message, I got a landing page, I'm going to set the whole thing up, and I'm going to tell my VA, hey VA, I want you to make me 4 ads, 4 different copy. I want to advertise on the right-hand side, desktop, mobile. I want to find out where we're going to get the cheapest lead at. Here's my core audience that I've selected that I want you to run ads on.
Yeah.
I would feel that would be the most powerful information for you, but that's like going through the course and hitting a couple of buttons and running a couple of ads. Not that you have to do it long term, but the strategy of, here's my core, and I think this is where that profit funnel kind of solves that. Here's my core, like I've done steps 1 through 7, and then AVA, steps 8, 9, and 10. I'm going to follow up, but I want you to maintain these processes.
All right. Yeah.
So,
that makes sense.
I
get that.
Right? On one side, I'm like, damn it, if I don't show you anything, it doesn't help at all.
Yeah.
If I show you too much, it's never going to happen because you have too much stuff going on. Right?
Yeah.
It's that happy medium in between.
Okay, good. So there is plenty of stuff that is just tedious grunt work that I can devolve out of this whole thing.
Yes, my firm believer is, from all the outsourcers that we've ever worked with and everything else, is number one, I have to do it first so I know how to manage it and I can set it to expectations, right? I don't have to be perfect at it, but I at least know, like, as a video editor, I'm like, come on, dude, it would take me 40 minutes to do it. If it takes you 2 hours, I'm good. 2 days, you're screwing me. Let's just be honest, right? Yeah. The second thing is for you to be able to test your own traffic, for you to be able to say, nah, I want to kind of tinker this. I think that's really important. So I think going through the training and learning it now, I think it's, in my opinion, it's a long-term skill that you'll always have. That it's, here's a great analogy. It's kind of like learning how to change a tire. You can absolutely take it to the service station. You can absolutely be driving in the desert in the middle of nowhere. Best of luck to you on it.
Got it.
You know what I mean? It's like, damn it, if I only learned. So I think what's really important is, hey, I have a new message. I know my core audience. I know my core target. This is all because you've got through training. I know exactly where I'm going to target those people. Let's run some test ads. Great. AVA, do me a favor. I want you to split test these 6 images, but I want to run it to this core audience. So I would say the probably strategy in there for you more than anything else is look at the organic posting strategy and then look at the ad strategy. I don't know. I think the other big aha for me is at Todd's event is, you know, Todd was standing on stage. I think all of you guys have heard the speech. Remember where Todd was saying he went to a mastermind and there was a bunch of people doing SEO that were right around the table, right? And Todd says, oh yeah, that's great. How many clicks do you get for that SEO term? Oh my God, that's awesome. Let's scale that. Yeah. The guy's like, and I think about that with business owners, right? Like, we work really hard on products and services and you have brilliant messages. And I just think, like, man, like, I could run traffic for people, which is great, but then I got to pay salaries, and like, now I got to charge $4 or $5 grand a month, and not everybody wants to run $4 or $5 grand a month. Okay, what about if I set it up for them? I charge $500, but if I set it up and they don't know what the right numbers are, that's not really fair.
Yeah.
So I could set it up and run it. Well, shit, now that's the agency. Now I got to hire employees before. So I'm kind of like, what's the happy medium?
Yeah.
Where we can train people, and so I'm hoping that this, what we want to be able to do is, hey, here's the checklist so you know your numbers, and to know if you take a step back or take a step forward, or what process you having problems with. Process number 6. What is that? Kurt, it's just creating the ads. Oh my goodness, I can do that. Or it's just the follow-up and reading the reports of the ads. Oh my goodness, I have a program that can help you with that. Or it's just the follow-up of the emails. Oh my goodness, I can introduce you to some of the best people in the world on we compartmentalize each part of the process to either show you how to do it or where to point you in the training and go from there.
Is that all that info in the SMEG? The thing you...
I'm working on it.
Oh.
I'm working on it now.
And it will be?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It will be. But what I'm basically doing right now is, you know, came back from Todd's, I was talking to a friend in Lawton actually about going through the funnel. And I'm like, what I hear from people more than anything else is a checklist of knowing their numbers. Because really, at the end of the day, all you want to do is you just want to know how to manage the numbers. And you want to give her a task of things to do that she can go through step 1 through 10. She can check off, you can observe, and you can quantify with numbers, did it work or not? That's all you really care about,
exactly.
Right?
Yep.
The problem is some of the little nuances in between, like, is this compliant? Is this congruent to the offer? Knowing some of those things are really important, because if I only have you manage the numbers, that's great. But if the account gets shut down, now you're not managing any numbers, where it's like a whole other process. So I got to kind of show you what process to manage, you know, for the numbers. So
All right, I get
Hopefully
it.
it's going to be, yeah. It's going to be something like, ideally, let me show you this with my phone. My phone's open. Default audio devices changed. Can you guys still hear me okay?
Yeah.
That should be on my phone. Yeah, because ultimately what should happen is, this is where, I don't know if you can see it. I guess you can well. Well, we'll be able to go through each part of it, and I just want to be able to help people and show them better with the numbers. That's the biggest thing. Oh, and the other thing is, I was talking to a friend of mine who lives in New Jersey City, right? So this is a night. And I was asking her, and I'm like, ever since I moved in here, it is really hard to leave this place. Like, I just feel inspired. As soon as I walk over here to show you guys this, I'm like, I just want to look inside. I feel so inspired. And she lives in New Jersey and overlooks New York City, and she goes, it's funny, I have my groceries delivered. I have other people to come over and meet me here. She goes, I just don't want to leave. And I go, I know that rent's a little bit more expensive. But God, when we get a design, I think this is really honestly like where I'm really passionate about, like the SMAG funnel when we're talking about numbers, is really at the end of the day, all of this stuff, the travel and other stuff I talk about, it's really all math that's compartmentalized.
Yep.
That's it.
No,
It's like a factory. Like I'm going to tell a story of Henry Ford. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn it. What part can I tell Craig that he doesn't have to do in his own factory? Should he know how the machine runs? He probably doesn't have to know how the electrical circuit works to make the robot run. But damn it, I bet he's going to want to know that this ward is called this, and these are his managers, and these are the tasks of the people. So he at least knows to go in there and say, damn it, I think the lights should be on, and you guys should be doing something.
Very helpful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm working through that solution. I think I'm very close to that. Very close to that.
Cool. No, you answered. Thank you.
Absolutely. So that's going to be the ultimate question I'm going to be answering in my own head as I'm designing this stuff out is, you know, how can I help you be a really good manager of it? You asked me when social media ad genius available. If you just send me an email, I'll send you a link. It's $4.97 for the year. Well, it's $9.97, but now I'll give you a link from Todd. It's $4.97. It's $4.97 for the year. If you send me a link or send me your email address here, I can send you a link for it. We can do that. Dang it, Ken, I've looped in Nick. I'll get you an affiliate link to that. My email is Kurt, so I'll type in here, Kurt at blackboxsocialmedia.com. Yeah, that's it. All right, so there is some questions in here that might be a yes. Kevin, is it true that for every 0.1% increase in your click-through rate, your cost per click decreases by 20% on Google or on Facebook? Is it like 0.1 decrease, 5% decrease in cost per engagement? I don't know those numbers exactly. That's a great question. It all depends. So for your increase, I don't know if I've actually traced that number to see, Kevin. So is it true for every 0.1% increase in click-through rate, your cost per click decreases by 20% on Google? Or on Facebook, is it like 0.1% increase in click-through rate, you get a 5% decrease in the cost per engagement? I've never run that. See, the weird thing is like, it's like a lot of logic goes out the window. So I don't, I think I told you this, I don't allow my employees inside the office to say, you know, why doesn't Facebook? I'm like, I don't really know why it doesn't do it. So we just try to figure out the logic to it. So what we do is, let me look on this here real quick. Sorry, every time somebody types in a question when I was scrolling, it jumps all the way down, which is kind of a weird feature of this whole thing, which is fine. But if we go, but the thing is I really want to make sure I get this. So website clicks, sometimes I see when the click-through rate goes up, the cost per click goes down. That makes logical sense to me. Logic, right? The logic is thrown out the window with this artificial intelligence and the way that Facebook has this whole thing played out. Because what I see is after we have 100 opt-ins, after we have 100 sales, what I see start to happen is I see that if we start bidding, hey, Facebook, go out and find me conversions. Go out and find me leads. Go out and find me sales. what I see happen is I see that my cost per click tends to be a little bit more. So Facebook, I want you to bid for conversions, right? I see the click-through rate drop. I see my cost per click go up. But if I look at the actual opt-in, like website clicks to opt-in, I'm actually looking at like a 60 or 70% opt-in rate. So I see that I'm paying more for the lead because I'm paying more for the click and it has a lower click-through rate. So if you're running website clicks, I want to get the highest click-through rate as possible, but I want to make sure that they're sticking. Having an 8% click-through rate sucks if no one's opting in. And pretty soon, Facebook's going to stop running traffic to that page. Or sending people to an ad that they clearly see is not relevant. So what I would really look for is I want to increase my click-through rate because I know it's going to help drop my cost per click, right? As long as my content's relevant. But then again, it's all relevant to the fact of if I'm running website conversions, they're going to focus on my conversion and not necessarily my click-through rate. So when I'm focusing on conversion, I'm looking at my opt-in rate, my relevancy rate, just to make sure I'm relevant, and then I'm looking at, okay, what's my cost per lead? Because typically, my cost per lead is going to be just a little bit more running a cost per conversion than website clicks. And typically, it's just a little bit more qualified. So like the click-through rate kind of gets put outside the window, which is kind of weird. So I hope that helps. Kurt Williams, social media ad genius, be available again. Send me an email on that. I got to leave. Thanks for the webinar. Yep. Great on Charles Ortiz's agency team. Awesome. We run some Facebook ads lightly in the weight loss niche as well as in the guitar playing niche. We noticed that 681 CPM after 286 spend for the guitar niche and 3028 after spend in the weight loss niche. Can this be an indication the weight loss niche is more expensive market to advertise to? Could be, depends on who you're targeting to. I mean, the whole thing is a moving target. So it's all depending on who you're targeting, the age demographic you're targeting, who else is targeting. I wouldn't necessarily price out per niche. Like I don't really know prices per niche. People ask me, well, per what do you think you get an opt-in for? I'm like, hell, I don't know. I say, well, I'll give you a range. They're like, great. And I'm like, $500 to 50 cents. They're like, what the hell is that supposed to mean? I'm like, that's a range. Like, I don't know your message, the market, the target, the age demographic, the other people bidding. So I don't know. It's all relative to figure out what traffic just means for you. So I would say, yes, the weight loss niche would be. I know the weight loss niche is more expensive because everybody's trying to advertise there. And I also know it's a heck of a lot more risky as well, too, is with it being more expensive, you want to make sure that you're more relevant because any kind of claim like learn how to lose 20 pounds in a week. Well, you just basically said learn how all people can lose 20 pounds in a week, not how some people can learn 20 pounds in a week. You can say, look how Susie lost 20 pounds in a week. But anything that you say with Facebook has to be 100% relevant and can affect everyone who's watching it. The thing is they allow you to target 25 to 35-year-old single females in Austin about losing weight, but you can't say, are you 25 to 35-year-old looking to get married, single, living in Austin, and you want to lose weight? They won't let you target that way. They let you target, but they don't let you say it in the words to personally identify people. So it's a really high-risk niche. So you'll spend some more money there, but you're just going to be really careful. DeMar, you said he says, hey, I got one for you. I don't know if you wanted to write in your question or if you come out and you wanted to ask a question. DeMar, you still there, buddy?
Hey, Kurt.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Good. It's Demir.
Good. How are things going, sir?
Oh, good. Good. Can't complain.
Awesome.
I do.
How can I help you, sir?
Well, I have one question. It's actually about targeting. So what happened, well, at least, that I've seen with business owners, they kind of evolved. For example, now when I speak, mostly I'm here in Bali, every business owner I spoke with, they're like, oh, I need help with online marketing. Oh, I need help with online marketing. So, what I see it's happening, okay, they all have websites, they realize it's not enough. So they kind of evolve into, oh, I really need help with it. So, which is kind of cool because you don't have to explain what online marketing is. So my question is, before, how should I say, it's a different level of market awareness. So, and that's why I kind of moved, okay, I want to target whatever business owner because they are aware of it. So in terms of targeting, you know what I'm saying? This is where it kind of can go a little bit too broad, which in a way, okay, it's good, it's a big market, but how do I keep it in a way specific? You know what I'm saying? So the good thing, what I'm trying to say, the good thing is that I've found people know about it and need help with it. Another thing is like there's so many businesses and it, you know, it is a kind of a broad thing, you know, or should I concentrate mostly kind of on businesses, you know, that mostly call it have stuff online and things like that. Because I've met, how should I say, people who are doing visas, people who have hotels, people who sell online, people who have retail, like literally from all kinds of, you know, backgrounds.
So tell me,
yeah.
So tell me your, I'm turning off my video just here for a second. I gotta go drink the water. But tell me who your perfect avatar is.
Well, my perfect avatar is kind of 30 to 45. If we are talking about age, you know, people who wanna have this, you know, location-free lifestyle, and you know, they wanna, how should I say, they know that they wanna sell something online, whether it's services or is it physical product. So, you know, it was before, call it like, I would say smaller group. What I found that kind of people who don't care about, you know, for the location for the lifestyle and whatnot, they need help with online marketing. So I'm like, hey, this is way better than I anticipated. So essentially, my ideal, how should I say, sorry, I didn't answer. My ideal target market would kind of have to know I need help with online marketing. I want to do something online. They're kind of recognizing the fact, you know, they got to do something and they want to.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
So just to kind of be clear on your avatar. So I'm going to look for things that my avatar is going to do that means that they are in process, ready to buy what I'm selling for my products or services. Okay. Now let me give you a couple of examples. Are you looking to target people who are just getting to know about online marketing? Are you looking to target people that have been online marketing for a while? People who are just getting into affiliate marketing, or people that actually have storefront businesses? What are you looking for exactly?
I'm looking ideally for a person who, so no affiliates, no that. I'm looking for a person who is aware of online marketing and they want to learn more about it because that helps them, you know, to grow their business. So they're not call it a total beginner. Oh, what is this? They're recognizing the fact that I need help with more bookings or I need more sales. And a lot of them where my strength is, none of them are tracking me. And they're like, you know, they're typically confused, you know, their Facebook account, whatever, billion other accounts, they don't know what they're doing. They're completely confused, you know what I'm saying? They went and looked for information, but they don't know what they're doing. So in a way, they are,
so,
you know, in a sense, does make
when
sense?
You say, a little bit, but when you say, so for your avatar, I'm a little confused.
Yep.
What kind of products do they have? Or do they have storefronts or are these online businesses?
A lot of them are in service industries like coaching. I did some work with beauty industries. I did some work with real estate. So yeah, they kind of mix. But one common thing is kind of service industry rather than just having a storefront. If they have a storefront, kind of an online shop, it's usually because they have actually a physical store, which is a fact in beauty industry, for example.
Okay, so a couple of things.
Yep.
So here's some of the people that I like to target. I don't really, just me personally, I don't really like to target Frank Kern, Ryan Dice for this market that you're talking about. You can, but every person I know does. Everybody, right? And it's like, great. So these people are inundated. Now, the thing that I had a speaker coach talk to me about, this was really, really, really good. He's like, Kurt, how many people actually use your products? I'm like, we got a lot of people that use it. We have a very low refund rate. People love our stuff. He's like, that's great. He goes, you want to focus on people who will actually use, that will actually use your product, right? It's great to sell a lot of product, but if they never use it, they're never going to buy anything else from you, and it's kind of a wham, bam, thank you, man. Unfortunately, that's it, right?
Yep.
So I'm looking for people who are in process. Now, I'm looking for people who are interested, for example, like in online marketing, digital marketing, and they may own a fan page. Gives me a high probability that they're probably going to like to know something about Facebook marketing, right?
Yep.
Now, especially if they have a fan page. Now, what I may look at on your side of things is I may take a look at, well, I bet if someone owns a Weber, they're doing some kind of online basic marketing. They might not be affiliate. They may be online. They just may be a coach. But if they at least buy, same thing with like Infusionsoft. If they buy Aweber, or if they buy Infusionsoft, they must be at least sending follow-up emails. They must be at least interested in, some type of marketing, or like GoDaddy, right? Or reading like online franchise magazine.
Yeah, or
so
WordPress.
I would look WordPress, exactly, or like Samcart, or like think about the tools that people would use that would help them with their online marketing. Like I can target people who are more sophisticated in their online marketing if I target people who use like Salesforce and Infusionsoft. Like Salesforce is rather expensive. The average Joe isn't using Salesforce. Infusionsoft, actually, more and more people are using it, but probably not someone starting out brand new. So that would be someone that would be intermediate, right?
Yep.
So I would kind of think through some of those processes for targeting. So because what you're really doing is you're looking for the emerging market. Now, what's really important to understand is when you're advertising for this, right? You want to be able, what people really love, especially in that space, tools we use. So here's tools that we use too, or what works really well is like the checklist, the 6 things that, the 12 things that, the 7 things that, list of 7 websites that'll help you dramatically change, whatever that is.
Yeah, some shitloads
right?
of that. Sure. Yeah.
So because what ends up happening is the thing that's really tough about your niche, what you're not going to be able to, and the last thing that you want to do, is you don't want to say, hey, look, learn how to make a lot of money from a laptop lifestyle where you can work on the beach and earn millions of dollars. Because Facebook and Google hate those types of ads, right? And you already know that. They're like, I don't want to see that crap whatsoever. So, okay, fine. So what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to provide blog articles or some kind of content where people are like, man, this is great. I really like this, or I really appreciate this. So I would think about, for example, if I was targeting people from Aweber, right? So I may say something about, do you use email marketing for your business? 3 simple ways to improve your email marketing, right? Or do you use online marketing for your business? 3 simple ways to use effective email marketing. Something where I know I'm targeting the avatar who uses this product or service with a high probability, and I'm going to give them a little bit of additional information. So what they can do is they can, research X, Y, and Z, take care of whatever.
Yeah.
Does that help? Does that make sense?
No, that helps a lot, man. You nailed it excellently, because just the new client that I got, it's exactly there. Like they got a website, they're using MailChimp, but they don't know if that's the best option, and they have zero kind of, what do we do? They're exactly there, kind of, okay, I know they have to do email marketing, but I don't know. So they know the tools, they know what they need to do, but no strategy. And that's exactly the ones I want. They're not total, duds like, hey, what is marketing? But they are not also, they don't know what to do exactly. So, and that's exactly what I mean. Yeah, that's excellent.
It's like I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was selling an email marketing course, and he's like, man, I advertise, and it's funny because what I love about this industry is, like, this buddy of mine, he is absolutely brilliant marketer. But I think it's really just kind of a combination of us just being in a community sharing ideas, because it's like, he had talked to me and we were talking about Facebook marketing, and he's like, I'm selling this in Facebook. He goes, I'm selling this email marketing course. And he sold lots of different online stuff. I'm like, that's great. He goes, man, I'm targeting entrepreneurs, small businesses, people who like Fred Kern, people who like Ryan Dice, people who like blah, 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 blah. And I go, I always try to think of what would my perfect avatar be doing in process, right? Like if I am advertising for email marketing training, are you advertising towards MailChimp and Aweber? He's like, oh my God, that's a brilliant idea. And I'm just thinking like, but you know, those people have to use email marketing strategies if they're using those kinds of systems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm always thinking, what tools do my avatar have to use? Because if I can get them in front of my brand and I can retarget with either email follow-up or actual retargeting, oh my goodness, I can really get them inside of my spider web of, well, quite frankly, follow-up or retargeting.
Yep. Excellent. So, yeah, thanks for
well,
that.
Yeah, and I know I've said it over and over, but I mean, just to reemphasize, it's like I really do believe that, you know, Facebook and Google are just eliminating people off their platform that are not highly relevant. So you're kind of in one of those niches that makes it a little interesting. It's like, well, you don't want to advertise for learn how to make 10 grand from a beach. You know, they're going to shut that down. But you know but what I'm saying though is you know that you can advertise a blog that says, hey, here's 3 tips on how to send a better email. Here's 3 tips on how to design a little bit better customer experience website. And Google and Facebook will send people there all day long, and then you get opt-ins and you can sell them whatever you want. So it's just, you know, little tips, little tools can get you a lot more leads than, you know, necessarily sending them straight into a sales process.
Yeah, because for a while, to be quite honest, I was a little bit confused. I was like, I don't want to market to internet marketers because they already know this stuff. And then that was this, you know, kind of gap that some average business owner, again, doesn't know about it. But, you know, everyone about it, better know about it, and that's the cool part. I think it's very big, to be quite honest. I haven't said lately, I haven't met a person that didn't need help with online marketing. Everyone was like, oh, I need your help. Oh, I need your help.
Always.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm missing something. You know, it's good. So, cool. Well, thank you very much. I'll keep you updated, I say.
Yeah, please. So let's see, what else do we have for some questions? All right. Can you put in here message of level of sophistication level 2? Maybe some clarification on it. And then you also ask, how soon will the checklist be ready? That is a really good question. I am working very, very, very hard on the checklist. That's all I've really been focused on in the last week. Not returning phone calls, setting bids over to potential new clients. It's always great. The level when a client's like, hey, I called you 3 times. We want to give you money. I'm like, I will call you back here in a little bit. But I am working on this checklist. So hopefully what I want to be able to do is have the checklist done for our Layer in the Sky weekend that's going to happen this weekend, and then actually get the formal checklist together where we'll have a new formal presentation that we're going to be rolling out. And I believe that's probably, I would say, 2 weeks sounds pretty aggressive, but it's going to probably be refined over 2-3 weeks. What we're going to do is, we were just talking about it here, is I think we may offer Social Media Ad Genius. We're going to sell it for $9.97. We'll offer it for $4.97 for a limited time only, and that's a lifetime membership. And then I think what we may do is towards the end of the year is offer $97 a month, but it wouldn't be $97 a month for 5 months. It would be like, hey, look, it's $97 a month, period. And then what we're probably going to do most likely is we'll do, after the first of the year, we'll no longer do a lifetime membership. What we'll do is we'll just do it for $97 a month. And that $97 a month will include like a monthly call, hangout call that we do, answer people's questions, you know, our internal forums, stuff like that. But I think the 2 big ahas that we really learned from our own product is, number one, giving people a lifetime access is absolutely awesome. They love it. You will absolutely sell more. The problem is is once the training happens to become outdated and you have to refresh everything, it's like Apple. Just because you bought an Apple iPhone 1, they're not giving you Apple iPhone 2 for free. There are lots of enhancements. But to give everybody lifetime access, well, it kind of ends up being that it's very hard to do a product refresh. And I think what we're really going to focus on for us is we want to take a look at the monthly residual, and we want to be able to really take care of our customers. And what I'm hoping for is that we'll make more money and have more people use our products. You know, what's really interesting is we do see people buy for $4.97 our product, and they're like, oh my goodness, I'm going to save, what is it? I'm going to save 70%. All right. $4.97, I guess it's not 70%. But they're like, oh, I'm going to save money. Instead of paying $97 a month, I'm going to buy it for $5.97 right, or $4.97 right now. Great. Love that. That is awesome. And what's so weird, though, is people will buy it, they'll look into it the first night, and they'll never open it again. So what I'm wondering is, even if we sell it at $97 a month on a monthly basis versus giving the big discount, because people are getting dinged every month on their credit card, will they have a higher probability of opening it up and looking at it because they're paying for it every month versus one time and done? So it's all very interesting. So retention. So retention is really a great question. You know, retention's usually on a continuity model is 3 or 4 months. But, you know, what we're figuring on doing is, you know, our entire plan, very much like I mentioned before, is what we want to be able to do is we're going to be sending out, you know, every Sunday, hey, look, here's our theme for the week. Every Tuesday, Shecky and I are going to have a blab. Could be an affiliate product, could be us talking about our products. You know, we have lots of different options there. And then from there, from that Tuesday blab, we're going to do the Wednesday webinar. On the Wednesday webinar, people get to know us. So what's going to happen is we're going to have multiple times to sell throughout a month, either our product or affiliate stuff. And what my guess is typical retention is 3 months. You know, if people are participating kind of, sort of, or not. I think if we keep in front of people longer and always add in new content, the other thing that I'm planning, or that we're planning on doing, that we're working on right now, is expert interviews. So I'm doing a different expert interview each week. So for example, I'm doing an expert interview tomorrow with a good friend of mine, Jesse Jameson. He's worked for, which is interesting, the guys who were at Todd's event that I mentioned from stage, where I said I was with them when I saw someone, you know, make $400,000 for the very first time ever, you know, in the course of 4 hours. But my friend Jesse Jameson was actually business partners with those guys who were at the event. What a small world. And Jesse has been around for almost 20 years online, just absolutely brilliant. And he's created a product for people on Facebook, for 2 products. Number one is it's a retargeting plugin. So you use a little link shortener, and anytime someone clicks on a link or a button or anything else, you can actually add a retargeting pixel. So technically, you can send someone over to a CNN article and be able to retarget them because they clicked on a link, went over to the retargeting video, which is great. He also has a Facebook mobile lead product where he trains people on how to use the new Facebook lead, mobile lead feature, how to import it, and just kind of rock and roll on it as well too. So what I've really noticed is, through all the friends and stuff I've met along the way, is as Shecky and I are talking about whole SMAG profit factory, we want to be able to say, hey, look, there's really 12 critical parts to this SMAG profit factory on how to judge if you're doing well, if you're not. But here's the thing. If there's any tool or component or section that you feel that you are missing or that it is not working for you, we will either, 1, address your question, 2, introduce you to a tool, i.e. could be an affiliate, or number 3, introduce you to some of the best people in the world who can help you with that exact problem that you're having in your factory. So what we want to be able to do overall is introduce some experts into that can either do it, train it, or give you a tool to help it. So just an idea. I think that, you know, one of the biggest things that I found is not only people not keeping track of their numbers in their funnel, or like, you know, with conversion sites can be awesome, or tracking each process, but also not following up and knowing how to monetize that follow-up. So that's why I love what Todd teaches about how he has the loss per customer as he goes into stuff. So I shouldn't say loss, but is willing to break even. Cool. So what other questions do you all have? I'm happy to look over anybody's ads, screens, funnel, Facebook ad questions. You're welcome to either type in your questions, jump on out here. It is your call. I'm just slicing up sweet potatoes so I can put them in the oven and eat them by the time I'm done with you amazing people. I do have to say over and over, like, working from the house is the greatest thing ever. Being able to talk to people on the interwebs, being able to cook dinner where I spend time with amazing individuals talking about Facebook marketing. I couldn't ever imagine such a better, I guess, job. So does anybody else want to talk about their ads? Does anybody else want to look over anything else with their content at all? No? Are we done for the night already? How did your course go over Facebook retargeting in detail? Yes. My course does everything with Facebook and tells you how to do everything with it. Yes, you can do loop-to-loops with it. Yeah, I mean, I actually have a retargeting strategy that I break down that I ran with Todd before. How we would get people to a Google Hangout and retarget them. I have retargeting strategies on how many days you should retarget people for, what those ads should look like. You know, retargeting was over 42% of our revenue just last year for all the stuff that we ran online. So really, retargeting is huge. It amazes me when I talk to people and they're like, yeah, you know, I've been thinking about doing that retargeting thing. I'm like, I spent $280,000 in like 5 months on Facebook ads for just my own product, not even anybody else's product, but just mine. And I'm like 42% of my revenue came from retargeting. Like, absolutely, everyone should use retargeting. It's the greatest thing in the world. So, Lee, great question. Lee, you said, is there any way to retarget people that view a video? You know, there is. Now, it leads to an interesting conundrum. Here's what that is you can retarget people who watched at least 10 seconds of your video. Great. Now, the first thing is Facebook's going to put those views into a custom audience after 24 hours. But you're going to have to get at least 1,000 views over the course of 24 hours. So if you were getting 10 cents a view, you're going to need 1,000 of those. So it's $100. Is that right? 10 cents, move the decimal over 3 places, 4 places. 10 cents, 1, 2, 3, $100. Yep. Okay. So what's going to happen is you got to spend $100 in 24 hours to be able to retarget those views. However, the next one is you can retarget people who have watched up to 95% of your video. Great. Well, now we got 2 problems. Number 1, if you're going to retarget people who have watched at least 10 seconds of your video, Facebook by default makes people watch the first 3 seconds. By the time you're scrolling and everything else, it's going to count almost every video view as a 3-second view. So if you spend $400 and get a whole bunch of video views in one day, you can retarget the audience that may have watched 10 seconds. Maybe. Problem is, it's going to be a pretty open, wide market, right? Unless you're doing a big branding play. I like to use a lot of video retargeting ads and running video views when I'm doing branding. You know, once somebody's opted in, I want them to take the next step. I'm talking about an upsell. I want to be able to relate to the people. Now, you can retarget people who have watched your video up to 95%, which is great. Now, that's a much, much more targeted audience. Now we're really talking. Now, here's the problem. At that 95%, you're going to have to run a lot of traffic to get to that point to be able to advertise as well, too. So the question kind of comes down to is, yes, you can retarget video views, but it depends on how many video views you're really running and how big that is. So I hope that helps. You can retarget video views. You just got to be really careful on it, because just remember, you know, targeting that 10%, you just realize that it's not really a targeted audience. It's just that someone was flipping through their phones and, like, I don't know, something like 80 or 90%, something ridiculous like that, of video views come on mobile. So you just want to be cautious of that the entire time as well, too. So I got another question in here, which looks great. Can you quickly take a look at my landing page that I'm using for Facebook ads? Yes, let's take a look at this here real quick. All right, hang on 1 second. All right, my fan page is very new. Just started it. Just putting contact in it. No CTAs yet. Still pretty low. Give me some feedback. Yep, let's take a look here real quick. Actually, here's what I'm going to do. Is Melanie, do you mind coming out and sharing your screen with everybody and kind of telling your story around it, what you're doing? That would be awesome. I think everybody could learn from it, and you and I can talk about it for a minute.
Okay, I will do that. Let me figure out how to share my screen.
You're going to see at the very bottom of the screen, it's like icon thing. You see a little green thing?
Yeah, I got it.
Cool.
I think, is this it? Yeah. Share screen with computer sounds. Share screen only. Okay. Can you see it?
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Let me get this out of the way so I can see it. All right. This, I'm not totally clear on what I'm doing. No, I know what I'm doing. I just not sure I'm doing the right thing. But what I'm going is trying to help people 45 to 65. And it looks like mostly women are being drawn to this page if I look at the insights. So probably go towards women. And it would be helping them figure out a way to kind of either bolster their retirement or replace it if it goes away. I mean, you always hear about Social Security being in trouble, and this age group is still young enough that they want to live a good life, but they don't want, and they're willing to learn things. So I would actually have to be teaching and taking people by the hand, but anyway, that's kind of the whole idea behind it. And is that good enough? Is that good, or you need more?
I am listening to you tell the story. I like your story.
Really? Does it sound like a good market to you? I think it does.
Well, it's an amazing market. It just depends on how you're going to actually market it.
I know that's the problem. When I start thinking about how do I target these folks, I can find places they go to maybe to read. I could do. I know I could do display ads. I'm not sure how I'd target them on Facebook. I could do the age group and women, but what else? I mean, what else would I don't know. I'm lost there, so I'm not sure.
When you said you could do display, tell me about that.
There's a lot of market research online that tells me what people are reading online in that age group, what we call the baby boomer age group. So I kind of know where I could go, at least test to see if that works. And then there's people that are actually interested in baby boomer specific magazines, and there's quite a few of those online that I'd also like to test out. Those would be good. And there are groups on Facebook that are baby boomer, but I don't want people that are, other than looking into this and looking for that age group, I don't consider myself an avid baby boomer who has to, be in groups that say baby boomer. So I think that's a very limiting way to look at it on Facebook. I'm hoping there's a better way.
Well, you can actually target affluent baby boomers. Like, that's actually a category on Facebook to target.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Does that look right?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's like, wait a minute, I can target people who like yoga, bought green smoothies, and typically buy nutritional products once a month. Wow.
Yeah.
Right? You can really get targeted on this stuff, which is great. Lots of fun opportunities. So I think the thing is you really have to get really good at what story you want to tell your avatar. Because that's how Google and Facebook are realizing, okay, are you congruent, right? Banner advertising is a little bit different. Because banner advertising is basically like, give me your money, they're going to click on this, and let's just make sure it's not illegal. right?
Yeah, yeah.
Whole different other ball game. But you're looking at, a lot lower, you're looking at a lot higher
Right.
cost. Typically, you're looking at a higher cost, lower cost per opt-in. Facebook just has amazing targeting. The regular banner does. So with banners, you have the ability to target people directly with a message. It typically is going to be more expensive, right?
Right.
That doesn't mean it's worse. I like to look at this in kind of a good and bad scenario. And here's what I mean by that is the first thing is banner ads could be more expensive. They typically are. Okay. The first thing, typically. The second thing is you got to create the banners. Of course, find somebody who can do that, which is great. And I'm not talking you out of it. I'm just kind of going through a comparison, which I want this to be a really good kind of learning lesson, right? So the other thing with the banners, though, typically, depending if you're buying them through a banner site or if you're buying them through the website directly, many times they'll allow you to run that banner to a website that typically Google or Facebook wouldn't allow you to run to. So it can typically just be a direct website where they, hey, check out this video, then they opt in, right? Or whatever. Google and Facebook wants to make sure it's a lot more relevant. A lot of times when you display stuff, they're like, if you have it on the side of our site, it's great. As long as it's not illegal, I don't really care where you send people to. Google and Facebook just want to make sure it's really relevant. So display can be a little bit more expensive, not as many opt-ins, but not as strict to be as congruent as what you have to do with Facebook or Google. So
Right.
I would absolutely test both. I just realized that, and I'm making up these numbers, I don't know it, but I would just realize, okay, it's cool. I know I might get a $3 lead on Facebook, but I'm going to have to get it by showing some kind of blog information that would be interesting to these people, right? Have you ever thought about having an online business? Have you ever, because Facebook can kind of think many times that online business is a fluke with Facebook, like it's not, best thing I'm trying to say, not a fluke. They feel that it's get rich quick.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Exactly, they do. They feel it's a scam, right?
They
Have
do.
you ever wanted to learn how to build a simple blog? 3 easy steps to start a blog. Oh, people will opt into that, and then you can follow up and talk about all this stuff, right? But to be able to say, are you a baby boomer? Have you ever wondered how to create your own Etsy account? 3 steps here. Well, if they wanted to create their own Etsy account, at least that is they're entrepreneurs that are interested, or that they're interested in making some additional income.
Yep.
Right?
Their own what account? Etsy?
Etsy, E-S-T-Y. It's an art site. You can make art and resell your art projects.
Oh, Etsy. Okay, sorry.
Etsy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
My ears don't work too well.
That's
Too
all
many
right.
concerts. No.
No, completely. Is today's Tuesday? Yeah, today's Tuesday. Sunday, I saw, who did I see? Lauryn Hill. Miss Lauryn Hill play. They had a concert that was literally right below my apartment complex. You can sit up like at our bar, and I'm looking down below. I'm like, I'm watching a full concert 20 stories up. This is awesome.
That
no
is
lines,
awesome.
no screaming people. Oh, it's great. Porno for Pyros played there. They haven't played in 15 years. I was pretty excited.
Yeah, cool.
A lot of fun. Okay, so your fan page. If you can do me a favor, scroll down your fan page just a little bit.
Sure.
Just so you can take a look.
Just some content. This,
Scroll up for me.
Uh-huh.
What was that very first thing right there? Is that your video or someone else's video?
That is someone else's video.
Okay, not a problem. Sounds great.
I need to. That's the other thing is there's just so much to do. I need to start doing videos every week. And,
It's all right. Small little steps. It'll be all right.
This is a little Lily Tomlin thing that I had found, and it got 10% reach. Anyway, just reach. But it's the most organic reach that I had. I thought I might boost that and put a little story around it, or do another post and do a little.
Now remember, you got to make sure though that Your ad does not violate the 20% rule. Are you familiar with the 20%
Oh,
rule?
yeah. That's right. The text. That's
Yeah.
right. So this wouldn't work. Okay.
Yeah. Always got to remember, just got to make sure that it passes the 20% rule.
And here's like,
So-
what's your best pet peeve? And somebody goes, right here on this page, LOL. And I'm like, what? What did you mean by that? And she didn't reply. So maybe I shouldn't have said that, but
It's fine. I'm not really too worried. I would. Somebody made a comment. It's fine.
So,
So
just
funny.
little,
That's good.
yeah, just little things. The blog post that I did, one
it's great.
person
And you're
looked
running,
at it.
and are you running likes to your page now?
Yeah, I was doing. No, I stopped. I was doing likes. I did $20 for 5 days or something, and I got 500 people. And I want to go ahead and do it again, but I didn't want to just run. I wanted to talk with you about that first, because I don't want to just do this, right? Just promote page. I want to do something specific for likes. I send them to a blog post, or how do I want to get them to like me that works
Well, so
better?
basically what you're going to do, so what you're going to want to do is you want to get people to like your page. And then what you do is at the very top of your page, you're going to want to pin your money post. Yeah. You're going to want to pin your CTA.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to either want to pin your CTA, right? Or what you're going to want to be able to do is, pin some kind of welcome video.
Welcome video. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's good. So is my graphic okay? I mean, it doesn't seem very.
Yeah, I think the graphic's
really.
fine. I think I think what really ends up happening is it's just by driving likes to the page and by posting regular content, you start to really see what do people start to enjoy, what do they like, what do they not like, what are they, what are people really enjoying about them, or what are people really enjoying by looking at their stuff, if I should be saying. Okay.
Then you start looking for what gets more engagement, and then you start trying to go down that road. More
exactly, and that stuff also makes it also makes great content. So you can start seeing what do people really like, so to start posting more of that, and also that can turn into ads as well too.
Okay.
So it's always it's always just a great way that you can basically start testing your message in front of people. That's the main thing.
Yeah, it's a pretty inexpensive way to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Does that help?
Okay. Yeah, that helps a lot. I appreciate it. I guess
Awesome.
I'll stop sharing now.
Not a problem.
Okay.
Not
Thanks.
a problem. You're welcome. And then I got a couple of emails for everybody here too. Here in just a little bit, I'll respond back to everybody here. Not a problem. Let's see here. Yeah, Eric, do you want to jump on here and we'll take a look at your fan page now too?
Yes, thanks, Kurt.
A problem. Go ahead, and if you want to just go ahead and share your screen.
All right. Let's see. Trying to figure out. I've done it before, but I'm still.
That's right. If you go to the bottom of this whole kind of app thing that we're in, you're going to see a little green button that's going to say share screen.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't think you can say reverse Graves' disease when you send people to.
Okay, so that's one thing I wanted to run by you, because I know that I put that as a headline in my ad, and they didn't approve that. So.
Yeah, you can't, because you can't make a claim unless it appeals to everyone and you have scientific evidence behind it too.
Okay.
So I think I'm trying to think. It's not reverse Graves' disease. It's not treat Graves' disease naturally. It would be like natural options for Graves' disease. Natural, it's not options. It would be natural.
How about solutions?
Solutions is a definite. I wonder if you could say solutions or remedies. Graves' disease natural remedies, or like list of Graves' disease natural remedies. Because it's free guide, you can't reveal 6 steps on how to reverse Graves' disease. You just can't say the 6 steps on how to reverse anything.
Okay.
Or you can say 6 steps to whatever, but it can't be reverse Graves' disease because that would mean it has to apply to everybody. But you could say something about, if you're interested in a natural approach, here's like natural treatment options.
Mm-hmm.
Read my download or get my video of 3 highly effective natural options for Graves' disease. How to address Graves' disease with natural, like I'm looking, the free guide walks you through 6 steps on how to, the free guide walks you through 6 steps on how to naturally, or how to address Graves' disease with natural remedies. I think that would be good.
Okay.
How to avoid radioactive iodine treatments. I think that's fine. How to avoid radioactive iodine. I think that's fine. The ideal Graves' disease diet. A natural Graves' disease diet, I think that's great. Find out which foods with Graves' disease people should eat and which food should be avoided. I think that could even be your opt-in. Find out what foods people with Graves' disease should eat and which food should be avoided.
Okay.
Because that doesn't make a claim of anything. But if people opt in, I would assume that there is a very high probability that they have Graves' disease.
Mm-hmm. Okay, no, that's a good point. I'm trying to think. Will this allow me with the screen share? Can I just switch to a different tab, or what do I have to stop the share first? Okay.
No, you can switch it. We can see everything on your screen, even the dirty pictures you have pulled up. Oh, wait, no, never mind. That's my screen. Sorry, go ahead.
I think, and again, maybe they overlooked it, but how do I look at the ad that's running? Just click on here, I guess.
Yeah. The ad, so you can go ahead. So this is the ad set. So you can click on the ad name right where it says ad set name below, US, GB, CA.
Okay.
Yeah, click on that. And then here's the actual ads themselves. Do you want to take a preview of the ad, or what would you like to do?
Yeah, because I'm thinking that in the copy, in the headline, it definitely doesn't say reverse Graves' disease, but I'm thinking it might say that in the actual, I guess the benefit or below the headline. So I just wanted to quickly.
So go ahead and you can go ahead and click on that.
Okay.
And then go over to the right-hand side. The ad preview is going to come up in just a second. Yep, you're going to click on the right-hand side and go to See Post at the very bottom.
Okay. So there it is. So you would recommend changing this thing because it says free guide reveals 6 steps on how to reverse Graves' disease naturally then.
Yeah, I would. I mean, here's the thing. Like, Google said this one time to us. Really, I use Google and Facebook kind of back and forth because they really do act the same, right? And we went to the Google shut down this client's account. We go to Google and we're like, Google, for the last 5 freaking years, you guys have run this, and now you shut it down. And they go, remember, just because Google ran the ad doesn't mean it endorsed the message.
Okay.
And I'm like, but you guys ran it for 5 years and you took my money, or you took our client's money. And they're like, doesn't mean we endorse the message. So what I really try to focus on is, and I tell clients this all the time, long-term, predictable, scalable income. Now, what you're doing right now can absolutely make money, but I feel it's a disservice if I say, hey, I think that looks great. I'm glad you're getting clicks because I see you have a good click-through rate and good cost per click, because I don't feel that that gives you a long-term, predictable business. So
Okay. No, that makes sense. I appreciate you telling me before I get banned. So.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that sucks about Facebook and Google is it's just, you feel, I'm in the same situation. You feel like you're doing the right thing. You're chugging along. Things are amazing. And then everything stops and there's no one to talk to. And that is worse than paying $1.50 a click when you were expecting to spend 50 cents a click. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So people always tell me, but Kurt, I can get $1 a click. I'm like, what's worse, being shut down or spending $2.50 a click? And they're like, I'll take the $2.50.
Yeah. And so if I put something like how to avoid radioactive iodine and achieve optimal health, or just how to avoid radioactive iodine, you think that should be accepted?
Well, I mean, here's the thing: is I don't know much about Graves' disease, not as obviously as much as you do.
Yeah.
But you may know that there are keywords, like, and I'm going to completely make this up.
Okay.
But like one of the things I saw in here is you said, hey, learn how to better, like you could say, learn how to better address your Graves' disease with a proper natural diet. It's no claims. I didn't claim anything. I just talked about a natural diet. Mm-hmm. Or you may use a keyword that someone with Graves' disease knows that the general public doesn't, right? It could be like, as you know, with Graves' or like Graves' disease and iodine has a bad effect, but did you realize bananas and blank can help you with, right? There may be things like with Graves' disease you're really not supposed to eat, or you're really not supposed to do, that only people with Graves' disease would know, mm-hmm. So they would be interested when they click on your ad.
Okay, yeah.
You just can't say, do you have Graves' disease?
Okay, no, that yeah, I think I understand. One thing now, I am going to make those changes, but I also wanted mm-hmm. to. Here's another version of it. I've been testing a few different versions. This one with just a different cover. And my rate, I have 3 different ads, and the conversion rate is real bad. I mean, it's about 9%. So, and what
9% opt-in?
Yeah, actually, here's the. Let's see. Here's the stats over there. So I have 3 different variations. So you can see 9%. One of them has a little over 10%, but I guess I'm trying to.
So what's the one with 10%?
That would be, if I could get here without closing out that. That would be this one, I believe. Yeah, so this has a different headline than the first one I showed you, but it has the plain cover. So.
What I see here, though, is 6 steps versus the other one wasn't 6 steps.
In the headline, yeah, the headline for the first one was just reverse Graves' disease naturally. And this one, yeah, the free guide reveals the 6 steps is what the difference is. So I guess I'm looking for suggestions on what would you just continue to test different headlines, not even worry about the image itself as far as the cover or the benefits?
So a couple of things. Let's go through this. So what are you getting right now for a cost per lead?
What's my cost per lead? Probably for this campaign about $1.60, I think.
Ooh, that's still really good. So that's still really good. Now at $1.60, are you able to turn a profit with it?
Yeah, long term. When I get them through my funnel, yeah.
So okay, so. Like when you say, yeah, I want to get into my funnel, like, are you making money after 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, 90 days? How long are you floating the cost?
Yeah, it's probably a few months. I have a front end product that I'm just testing out to try to break even, but so far not converting well. So most of my sales come right now through a webinar where I sell a program to people with Graves' disease. So.
Well, I mean, because right now what I'm hearing you say is, okay, so if you're getting leads, well, we want to make sure, of course, that we get leads for the long-term sustainable stuff, right? But if you're getting leads for $1.43 and then you're selling this on a webinar, like I would, to make sure it's compliant though, that I would start looking at scaling more traffic. Even if the opt-in rate's 10%, I mean, $1.43 is great for leads in this niche. Under $2, great. Now, of course, that there are small things you can change with your landing page to help bring up the, to help bring in the conversion. But if you're under $2 a lead and you can make money at it, like in the first 30 days, or at least break even, like you're doing really well. That's the first thing. I would look at scaling traffic as long as I made sure that, it wasn't saying that there's any kind of guarantee or cures. That's the first thing.
Okay. I guess the concern is, will I keep the 160? Just going over Peggy's example, I know that was just one example, and maybe she did the landing page, but I guess, is it realistic to expect $1.60, like 3 months from now or 6 months from now? So.
I don't know. Like, that's just stuff that you really just can't predict. It's like, all right, great. So here's the way that I look at it. Great. I'm getting $1.60. I'm getting $1.60 right now. I know that I can monetize it over the course of 30 days. All right, great. I'm going to keep on running it. So I'm always going to look at what's my cost per lead, what's my average revenue per lead. And that's going to be over 30 days, over 60 days, over 90 days.
Yeah.
Right. And like, for instance, I know when I was on Facebook for Social Media Ad Genius, we were getting $3 to $4 leads. But I also knew after the end of 30 days, my leads are worth $16. So pretty soon I started to realize, getting $3 or $4 leads is great. But even if I'm getting $8 leads, I'm still doubling my revenue in 30 days.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long it lasts. I hit the gas as fast as I can, and I know what my tolerance is overall. So I think that's kind of one of the things, like I talked to my business partner, Tom, about, because he's a bean counter and he likes to know how predictable everything is. And I'm like, let's just run it till it doesn't work. And he's like, can you get $4 leads? Yes. He's like, can you do that for the next 6 months? And I can build modeling on how we're going to make $300,000 a month. And I'm like, nothing lasts that long, because Facebook might think you're not relevant anymore because people seem to add over and over.
Yeah.
So I keep my control numbers. But as long as you know your acquisition cost and what you're willing to spend for a customer, that's really the power behind it. Because once you know how much you're really willing to spend for a customer, you're going to keep on running it until it stops working. But if you're already at $1.53 with that low of an opt-in rate, you're doing something right. And it means it's because I was looking because you were getting your cost per clicks really low.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Would it be wrong, you think, because I've never used lead pages before, but I figure, even though I know what you're saying, that, as long as I'm making money, but if I can increase the opt-in rate, I guess my point is I want to keep on testing, and I was going to test the lead pages ad. Is that okay with Facebook, or? Yeah. Just use
the plugin. So it's your URL and your domain, so it doesn't say lead pages dot whatever.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'd be great.
All right. Cool.
So. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. It's always really weird, because here's what I really noticed that I really try to teach on, especially with the Facebook stuff, is it's like a lot of people like to compare themselves to what other people are running. And I think that's the toughest part about like the stuff that I teach, because they're like, damn it, I'm getting a 10% opt-in, just like we had talked about before, right? Dang it. How much you get leads for? $1.43. Holy crap, that's really good. And you're like, yeah, but if I could have a 30% opt-in, my leads would be like 40 cents. And I'm like, I know, but that's still really good. You're like, I know, but can I make money at it? You're making money at it now. This is really good. And you're like, I know, but it's really good. So like my friend Steve Jaffe, who does a webinar series, he really knows his numbers. So it's funny, because he came to me and I go, okay, Steve, everybody wants leads for under $2. What are you willing to spend for a lead? He's like $8.50. Like, that's pretty expensive. He goes, I know, but I make $16 in 30 days. So I'm willing to spend $8.50.
Yeah.
Like, And I think the other big aha was I kind of told the story a little bit of Todd, but I'll kind of tell it again real quickly, is I was talking to a girl, and she goes, she has this digital magazine online, and she goes, Kurt, my goal for the next year is to double the size of my business, and the year after that, double it again. I'm going to 4X my business. I go, great. And she goes, but I'm really cautious. I need to get leads for under $2. I'm like, what do you mean? This is where I kind of told the story on stage, where she goes, I fired my last social media person because I was getting $4 a lead. I'm like, wow. So, what's your average lifetime value of a customer, especially for a year? She's like, $32. And I go,
Yeah.
you can spend up to $15 for a lead and you're still going to double your business. She goes, Kurt, I want to have a 200,000 person email list. And I go, well, let's be clear on your goals. Do you want an email list or do you want to double the size of your revenue? You're asking me to do two different things. She goes, no, they're synonymous. The more leads I have, the more money I make. I'm like, that's not necessarily true because I can get 15-year-old boys in India to opt in for $1, but it doesn't mean that they're going to be your best customers. And you can double the size of your business if you're willing to spend $16 because you know you're going to hit 32.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, I think you're doing great. I think changing small, little, tiny things, like if, for example, just to kind of walk through this, if you feel that, hey, I just want to test it out with lead pages, I want to see if I can go from a 10% opt-in to a 15% opt-in or a 20% opt-in, that's great. If you feel in your business for what you're doing right now that it is quick and easy for you to get lead pages in a day or two, awesome. If you feel you have to learn lead pages and it's going to take a week and it's going to kind of get stuff up there, it's probably not going to make that big a difference for how well you are already doing right now. But if you have the time and you want to test it, I highly encourage you to test it. I just want to I always like to tell people, I like to keep it in perspective. You're doing pretty well. And I bet you can scale as long as you keep the wording right. But overall, you really are. You're doing pretty well.
Okay, great. Thanks for the words of encouragement and for your time and help. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I talked to somebody the other day who was traveling in Italy. They went to Belize, and I think they went to, I don't know, New Zealand, and they made 10 grand on a webinar over the course of a week. And they're like, Kurt, I'm so frustrated. I can't get online. And I'm like, you're traveling all over the world and you just made 10 grand. He's like, I know, but if I can only make more. And I'm like, let's keep this in perspective. You're doing great. Great job. So, okay, good. Yeah, I really like this. You're doing great on this. So yeah, absolutely keep it up. Oh, the other thing, by the way, I saw as you were flipping through your ads, is I saw that you had like a relevancy score of 9 on your ads. Congratulations. That's great. That's really, really, really great.
Oh, thank you.
Great job for you. Yeah.
Great. Thanks again.
All right, absolutely. All really good questions. Any other questions that we have here? Questions, comments, concerns? Divine revelations? I would like to say. Everybody says, no, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, good. Well, good. I will get the recording done here as soon as I possibly can. We can get that out here shortly. And then other than that, does anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns, divine revelations before we wrap up this amazing call today? No? Well, good. If you guys have any other questions, you feel free to just email me, Kurt, C-U-R-T, @blackboxsocialmedia.com. It is inside the little link referral place in there, of course. And other than that, I will see you all next month. I just love talking to you all and seeing the progress and everything else. So really, really appreciate it. Oh, yeah, by the way, one last other thing. Hey, if you have any feedback whatsoever for me, you can either email me or, email Todd's group. Just let them know, hey, I was talking to Kurt on the phone. He gave me an idea on this, or he gave me an idea on that, or, man, I can't believe he told such dirty, racist jokes. You can tell that's what Todd he says. He's like, oh, that's kind of interesting. But if there's anything I can do to help, just let me know, you guys. And I appreciate you very much. Excellent job. You guys are all great to work with. One last thing in here. It says, the family, Phil, Tom, Jane, do you have any questions? Or did you just say you had to say hello? I was going to make sure I answer your questions. No? I think we're good.
Yeah, just wondering, Kurt, if you could take a look at our opt-in page.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to go ahead and share your screen and bring that thing up?
Yep.
Great. Let's see what you got cooking. Because I think I got something burning now that I'm thinking about cooking. Yeah,
Don't burn your potatoes.
that is what we call burning. That is all right. And this is how we make sure that the neighbor's fire alarm does not go off right now. Perfect.
Can you see that?
I will in just a second. Hang on just 1 second for me. Hang on 1 second. sorry, I was looking at this and I looked over and all of a sudden there's smoke coming out of my oven. And I'm like, maybe I should go put this out on the balcony. Last time someone started a fire in our apartment complex, it wasn't a big fire. It was like an oven fire or whatever, just super, super small, like not a big deal. But they opened up the apartment door, so the smoke went outside in the hallway, which means the entire thing had to be evacuated. Versus like, just open up the windows in your apartment, dude. It is not that big a deal. So, okay, whoa, let's see. Hang on 1 second, small little issue. Thing just fell over. Hang on 1 second. All right. So, if I take a look at, okay, good. All right, the unique video introduction method that transforms your ordinary emails into a tribe of raving fans that adore you and buy almost anything you offer. Great. Have you started running anything to this yet?
No, we're just about to start running it, and we're going to do a test, and we were going to use Facebook to test. Is that what you would do?
Yeah, I would use Facebook, absolutely.
Okay, so
Now,
is this opt-in page, you reckon, compliant for Facebook?
Scroll down. Now, the things that, now I would say the unique video introduction so the unique video indoctrination method that transforms your ordinary email list into a tribe of raving fans that adore you. Period. And buy almost anything that you offer? No. Just the fans that adore you. Right? And that's great. Because you have contact, home, branding. Can you scroll below the continue button? Is there anything below that button?
That goes to a VSL. Oh, scroll down. Yep, okay.
Scroll down, yeah. Yeah, I mean, is your privacy policy in terms and up-to-date disclaimer, is that all up-to-date and correct?
Yep.
Okay. Then, yeah, you should be good to go with that. Absolutely. I'd run a test on it.
Okay, beautiful. That's all we wanted to know. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it.
Yep, absolutely. So, yeah, I'd run a test. Let's see what happens.
Okay, thank you.
That's good. Absolutely. Anybody else have any other questions? Great question. Anybody? Ferris? That means no. All right. Well, great, everybody. So looks like I think we addressed everything else. That is great to hear. So other than that, I hope everybody has just an amazing night, great rest of the month, and I really, really, really look forward to speaking to all of you, of course, next month. So other than that, I will see you in December, everybody. Thanks again, everyone. Take care.